Oh, good morning, my Teaserking family. Bobby, I apologize. My cam wasn't going on, so it kept trying to go live and it wouldn't go live. So uh, basically, I wasn't able to. It just kept saying go live, go live, go live. It never said you're on. So I apologize for that. I didn't know what to do to get the cam working. I don't know why it went off. It worked fine yesterday. Anyway, my apologies, but now we can get going. Teaser King family. Um, let's look at baseball since it's 12:32, and we are. I know there was a game that's these 12 o'clock games on Sunday are so stupid. All right, so 12:05 was Cleveland and Chicago. Skulls-in 1-4, the 307 against Curry, 3-1 with a 2.90. I would go under there, and it's 2-0 under. The Mets in Baltimore, 135. Hello, Miss Baby Bows. Nice to see you. The Mets in Baltimore, we've got Quintana 0-2 with a 3.57 against Bradish, 7-6, 3.32. Another under game. Toronto and Boston, we have Bassett 10-6 with the 4 ERA against Bernardo 1-1 with a 2.72. I'm gonna go over because I don't believe this Bernardo. Never heard of him. He's probably a bullpen guy. Houston and the Yankees, we got Urquidy 2-2 with a 5.2 against Rodon 1-4 with a 6.29. Let's go over in Houston Yankees. KC Philly, I did have Philly yesterday. That one won. Greinke for KC 1-11 with a 5.32. Jesus Christ. Taiwan Walker 12-4. There's a lock. Philadelphia. Tampa and Detroit, we got Ramirez 2-3 with the 5.34 against Matt Manning, 3-3 with the 4.53. This is the guy with the no hitter they pulled after 6 innings. So I don't know where they're going with this, but you never know with the Tigers. Are they going to hit and score runs? Are they not? Who the fuck knows? Tampa can score. Both these pitchers are dogs. So let's go over the 9 here in Detroit, Tampa. Washington, Cincinnati, Irvin, 3-5 with a 4.86 against Lyon Richardson. 0-0 with a 0-0-0. So it's a new one. Let's go over Washington. Pitt, Milwaukee, 5-11 with the 4.42 for Oviedo for Pitt. Woodruff 1-0 with an 0.79, and another guy I've never heard of, another with the stupid bullpen day. Let's go over here because let's see this Woodruff. Let's see. So he pitches 6 innings against the Cubs in April. They win 3-. He gives up 3 hits and 1 run. Then he gives up 4 hits and no runs April 7th against St. Louis. Then he got injured. So he's not going to pitch a lot. So ignore the 0.79, which then let's go over Milwaukee Pitt. Arizona, Minnesota. Zach Gallen, 11-5, 3.41 for Arizona. Dallas Keuchel, who I don't think's pitched this year. I don't recall his name. He was really good for Houston, and then he disappeared. His last start was September 2nd, so he's been injured. So look for 4 or 5 innings there. Let's go Arizona here. Colorado, St. Louis, Comber, 8-8 with the 5.68 against Zach Thompson, 2-3 with the 4.76. Let's go over in the Cardinals-Colorado game. Laying in the Cubbies. The Cubbies have been beating them pretty good. Charlie Morton, 10-9 with a 3.62 against Justin Steele, 12-2.65. This should be an under game, but both teams are pretty hot. So I'm going to go under on it, but I can't. Both pitchers are good. So we'll just think that they'll pitch good. So we'll take the pitchers, go under. Miami and Texas, Alcantara 4-9 with a 4.21 against Heaney, 8-6 with the 4.36. We go over in this one. Seattle, California, Bryce Miller 7-4 with a 4.35 against Chase Silseth, 3-1 with a 3.99. We'll go over here. 49ers and the Raiders. Let's see what happened yesterday. I'm going to go to yesterday's games right after this. Cobb 6-3 with the 3.05 against Medina, 3-8 with the 5.35. Let's take the 49ers and the Dodgers and the Pirates, or let's call it the Rams against the Chargers. We're getting into football. Lance Lynn 7-9 with the 6.32. Rich Hill 7-10 with the 4.76. This is an easily over 9.5. So let's go to yesterday. And yesterday, the Yanks win 3-1. Verlander, we would have had it under. Verlander 0-1 with the 2.57. I thought his ERA was a little higher, but now it's 2.57, so we'll take it. So he loses, but he only gives up 2 runs. And Houston doesn't score, so that's unusual. But an under game. Detroit beats Tampa 4-2. Skubal against Chevalier. Again, the Tigers go 5 innings. This manager's out of his fucking mind. But it is an under game with these 2 ERAs, so that makes sense. Cubbies in Atlanta. Fulmer, who used to play on the Tigers, gets the win for the Cubbies. 3.96 against Elder, 3.43. So what, again, would have thought would have been probably an under game goes 8-6. So it just shows you the Cubs in Atlanta are really hitting the ball. So we'll have to be careful. I said under today, but it'll probably end go over. Texas Miami 9-8. John Gray 3.72 against Ryan Weathers 6.89. I like John Gray Texas wins 9-8. My apologies. John Gray with the 3.72. So he gets the win, which we would have thought, but a high scoring game. So we went over today with it. Toronto 5-4. A 9-run game. We probably had it under. Well, Barrels 9-7 with the 3.38. Gets the win. I don't know Berdano 1-1 with the 2.72. It's a starter or not, but it went to 9. Washington beats Cincinnati 7-3. Philly, that was our lock or our big game. They win 9-6. And again, it was Strahan 7-3 with the 3.59 going against the weak ERA and getting the W. The Orioles beat the Mets 7-3. Oakland beat the Niners 2-1. I think we had the Niners there, or we had it under. I don't remember. I'll have to listen to the broadcast. The White Sox, Cleveland 7-4. Kopech. So we keep hearing Kopech. He got the win. I think we had him. Syndergaard 0-1 with the 4.76. Hasn't pitched in a while. Milwaukee beats Pitt 3-2. Minnesota 12-1 over Arizona. St. Louis 6-2 over Colorado. San Diego 8-3 over the Dodgers. That we did have. And Seattle 3-2 over California. So I did play San Diego. That was, who was their starter? Yeah, Grove started. Yeah, it was a bullpen day for the Dodgers. And yeah, we had Snell with the 2.61. So Snell gets the W. See, when you get a good pitcher, he wins 8-3. The good pitcher will beat the hitting. So anyway, so that was yesterday, and then we just went through today's. So you get some tough games, like the Mets in Baltimore should be an under. You got two good pitchers going. Well, we don't know. Quintana's good, but he's 0-2 with the 3.57. Houston and the Yankees, they got Verlander back. Philly should beat KC. We'll make that our strong. We'll make that our lock today, Philly over KC. Detroit and Tampa, you have no idea which Detroit team shows up. I've never seen a team so unpredictable in my life. Here, Matt Manning. Now, Matt Manning's the guy that had a no-hitter for 6 innings, and then he pulls them. What kind of fucking coach is that? So I don't even know what to do with the coach is the worst manager I've ever seen. So not sure what to do with that. Anyway, Bobby, I'm here. I hope you're not waiting on that. Let me go into YouTube here. And let's see if I can, see if Bobby's waiting. Oh, Alligator did one. Will the BRICS currency be gold backed? Yeah, well, we already know that. You've already said that. So I don't understand that question. I mean, clearly it will be. So this shows the videos. This is yesterday's. I got to start making some shorts. Well, I don't know how to. So I haven't watched Alligator, but he's got one on. But so this is a new one that he did yesterday. I haven't seen it, so I don't have time to go through it. Let's see what the comments say. Can Russia buy gold and other goods from India with the rupees received from India? Yeah. I highly doubt that BRICS, despite all the best intention, are capable of making a fractional reserve backed by gold without some terrible interference similar to the recent Russian experience with sanctions. Good luck to them. They will have a lot of opposition. Time will tell. Is that all the comments? It's 20 comments. Humanity is too corrupt to use gold as payment. They will invent tools to use every deceptive scamming, well, they do it now. BRIC is smoking good stuff. Remember, in BRICS, India will never participate with China, so delusional. That's why there's this currency. See, some people are just stupid. BRICS, remember, India will never participate with China. They don't have to. This currency will be under the umbrella of BRICS, and it'll be gold back. So India doesn't have to participate with China. They just will all use the same currency to transact. And if India doesn't transact with China, they won't transact with China. They'll transact with Russia. Commercial by gold or other goods from India. And banking debt is not about money. It's about keeping you into financial debt obligations. Whatever. So it does look like, so we'll have to watch alligators. But anyway, all right, let's go to, I'm having trouble with the odds. Well, let's go to NFL. And let's look at the NFL odds for week 1. I don't really advise or pay attention to preseason. You're betting on these. Look at the end of the Jets Cleveland game. You're betting on a guy I'd never heard of. There's a 4-stringer. Why do we want to bet on this guy? So we don't. So that's my point. So if we don't want to bet on him, why would we bet preseason on people we have no idea who they are? So let's go to NFL. Well, we're in NFL. So let's go to odds. Boy, this Yahoo's really, really testing me. Where is week 1? All right, we can't use Yahoo. We'll go to my other one, scores and odds. NFL and week 1. Okay, so here's the NFL odds. Let's see anything change. Kansas City's 7, 54.5. So it has gone up from 53. I'll leave it at 6.5. I'm sure we can find a 6.5. If we can't, we don't care. We're looking at the game over. Atlanta 342.5 hasn't really moved. Baltimore 9.5, 44.5 hasn't really moved. Cincinnati's went down to 1.5 because of Burrow's injury, 47.5. So why would the over/under not move if the line moves? So people like in Cleveland, that gives us 4.5 with Cincinnati, so we like to bet even more. Jacksonville 3.5, 43.5, same 3.5. Minnie 6.5, 45.5. I'm not going to change for a half point. New Orleans 341.5. So that went down from 4, so I will change that. And 41.5, I won't care. San Francisco 3 and 40.5. So that's gone down from 42.5. Washington 6 and 40. That stayed. Chicago 2.5, 44.5. Went up from 1.5. Not sure why. Denver 3.5, 44.5. Hasn't moved. San Diego 2.5, 50.5. Went from 49 to 50. All right, whatever. Philly 4.5, 45.5. Went from 46.5 to, we'll call it 46. Seattle 5.5, 47.5. Up from 46. Not sure why. Dallas 3.5, 46.5. And Buffalo 1.5, 47. So let's talk about those. Bobby, I apologize. I couldn't. The way you do it, you go live, you put the headers in, you say yes, 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 and then you hit a thing that says go live. And when I hit it, all I got was this circle, and it kept circling, and it kept circling. What I noticed is my monitor, my camera wasn't on. It like now it's white, so I know it's working. It wasn't on, so it probably was trying to find it, and it couldn't. So I couldn't go live because I couldn't find a cam. So I tried it 3 times, and I said, okay, I saw your comment, and then I just shut my computer down, started it back up, and now my cam's working. So I apologize for that, Bobby. But I did exactly what I always do, just yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's go live, and off I go. I'm going over football now. I did baseball first. And Verlander lost for Houston yesterday, but it was a low-scoring game. Today, they locked Philadelphia in baseball. So I did baseball first, and I just went through the line in football. So I'll redo it for you. I don't know if you got it or not. Kansas City is 6.5, 54. Atlanta 343, roughly. They might be a half-point difference. I'm not going to fuck around this far out for half points. Baltimore 9.5, 45. Cincinnati 1.5, 47. Jacksonville 444. Minnie 6.5, 46. New Orleans that went down from 4 to 3, 42. Frisco 3, and the over-under went down to 40.5. See, people watch my thing because they obviously, when I talk, people listen because I said that's probably the best play on the board, this under, and it went from 42 to 40.5. Washington 640.5. Chicago 2.5, 44.5. I don't know why that line would go up. Denver 3.5, 45. San Diego 2.5, 49, 50, I think. Philly 4, 46. That went down. Seattle 5.5, 47. Dallas 346. And Buffalo 1.5, 247. So if we analyze it now with the teaser trend, so the teaser trend, KC 6.5. Now this is, as I called, I'm trying to get the market on Detroit. We know the market on Kansas City. We know Mahomes is going to win the game. We know they're going to score. The Lions still have a weak defense. They had a few guys in free agency. Well, if they're any good, they wouldn't be in free agency. The team would sign them. It's like this college bullshit where the kids go through the portal. Anybody good's not going through the portal. The only one that did was Joe Burrow. It wasn't even a portal. He just transferred. I don't like the portal. I think it makes these guys a bunch of babies. Oh, I'm not starting. I'm going to go transfer to Kansas, and I can start there. Okay, then what are you going to do? So is that what you're going to do at your job? You're gonna. Oh, I didn't get the job. You're going to go cry? I mean, I don't get that at all. In my mind, you have the competition and you need to get better. Look at Michael Jordan. He didn't make his high school team. He didn't quit and transfer his schools. He worked at it. He practiced, and then he got better. And now he's one of the top 25 players in the league. My goat's still Wilton Bird and Magic. And even Isaiah was better than Jordan because he went with Bill Laimbeer. So I don't get these players that cry. That's what I like about Rising. He's on Utah. He wasn't starting. He didn't cry and quit. Brady did that at Michigan. He couldn't start. Didn't cry and quit. He worked on it. You know, he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks besides Mahomes and Montana. So you've got to work hard, and either you have the skill or you don't, but you can't keep crying about it and going somewhere. Real quick, Bobby, Alligator was on, when was he on? 1 day ago. So he's on yesterday, but I didn't see him. I'll watch this today and report. But will the BRICS currency be gold back? I don't understand the question when he said it will be. And it's going to be backed by gold. So we already know I don't quite understand the way they term this. We're not watching this guy, the money levels show. We're not watching because you say, will the BRICS currency be gold back? Well, we already know it will be. We're watching it for Alligator. That's why we're watching the show. So it's just crazy. But so we'll watch that one tomorrow, or we'll watch it later, and I'll report on it on Tuesday. or you can watch it. But I'm sure the BRICS is gold back, so not really worried about it. There. So what we're doing in week one is getting the market on teams we're not sure of. Detroit lost a key running back. They have no defense. They didn't really draft anybody. They drafted a linebacker from Iowa, a middle linebacker, which is really stupid. And they drafted a running back who wasn't that good and a tight end from Iowa, who I never heard of, in the second round. So their first three picks were just another waste of time. I don't know why you would draft a running back from Alabama. Derrick Henry, I get, but I don't get drafting this guy. He was nothing. So I think their offense is going to hurt. I think their defense is not going to be good. And, I don't know where they are. Just excuse me for 1 second. My apologies. Okay. So again, the market changes with all those player movements, right? So we don't know what's going to happen on a lot of these teams, or they got free agents, even the draft picks. How's Houston and India going to do with these new quarterbacks? So that's what we're watching in some of these teams. Some we don't need to watch. Kansas City, we know their market didn't change. They got Mahomes, they got their running back, they signed their defensive lineman. They're pretty much the same team. So did the Lions get better defensively? I don't think so. Did they get better offensively? No, they got worse. They let the running back go, who gets 17 touchdowns, and this is the Lions' problem. And they think, we'll just draft another one because it's cheap. We pay the rookie salary. We don't want to pay the guy who produced 17 touchdowns. He goes to New Orleans. They got better. So this is the Lions' problem, and has always been. They didn't sign, whatchamacallit, the guy from Ohio State, Chris Spielman. His contract ran out, and they didn't sign him, and he goes to Buffalo. And all their linemen, and the only ones they keep are like Barry, Charles Johnson, or what's his name, Calvin Johnson, and Stafford. So when they got that one superstar, if they let him go, nobody would show up to the game. So that's the only guy they'll sign, is a guy like that. So my guess is they won't sign Goff. He'll be a free agent. I don't know if they brought in Bridgewater or not. And then you would think they're going to have Hooker as the quarterback until his deal runs out. Unless he turns into a superstar, they'll just keep drafting quarterbacks and playing them, and they'll keep sucking because they don't want to win. They just are a cheap team, just like the car company. So we'll see. I'm worried Detroit without the running back. They don't really have the receivers. St. Brown, or whatever his name is okay. But now he's the one. He'll be double teamed, or the best secondary guy will take him, and he's going to be shut out. And they got nobody else. Kid from Alabama who lies about betting on football. I didn't know we couldn't bet on it. Shit, everybody knows that. Look at Paul Hornung and Alex Karras in the '60s. Missed the whole year because they bet on football, and everybody knows that. So that's how I view it. So I'm thinking KC wins. Now in the trend, Detroit's to play. They're good. KC's a bad home favorite. So you can only tease KC to even. See, and then people, I took the money line. What the fuck are you taking the money line for? When you could just play him even in a teaser. Like we can't find another team to play him with versus playing a money line on him. I mean, it's just insane. So I don't know why you'd want to lay 150. Let's see what the money line is if it has one. Yeah, you want to lay 300 to win 100 on a money line when you could lay 110 on a teaser. See, this is why would you play money line? I hate money lines. They're such a stupid bet. But people like to play them. I don't know why. I mean, if you're going to play money lines, then what are you betting for? Seriously. Baseball is different because you can't lay a field goal. But here, I just don't understand it. All right, so the technical is take Detroit, play against KC 17-3, play against them as a home favorite 9-0. So they're a weak home favorite. And I would think the Lions, depending on how weak they got, plus the 12.5, 13 points, should be good here just because it'll take KC a while to get going, but they could easily murder Detroit. So everybody looks at Detroit and they finished 8-2 or 7-1 or 7-2 or whatever, but they lost the big game to Carolina that they had to have. When they're out of the playoffs, they beat Green Bay. They beat the Bears twice, Green Bay twice. Rodgers didn't try in either game. And then beat Minnesota. So 5 of their wins came against teams with no defense. All their losses came against New England and Dallas. Even Seattle didn't have much of a defense. So against good quarterbacks and against good defenses, the Lions are not competitive. You got Mahomes in Kansas City here. They're not going to be competitive. So that's why I like the game over, because I'm still – how weak is – my biggest concern of the game is Detroit's offense will not be very good without the running back. How are they going to score when they get in the red zone? And how many interceptions will Goff throw? Especially with no training camp, no preseason games. So it makes it really difficult to just the first week. Now, Mahomes and Kelsey, they've been doing it for 5-6 years. So for them, it's not a big deal. But for Goff and St. Brown and St. Thomas and, St. Louis, it's going to be hard for him. And without the running back, the kid from Alabama, he sucks. Hooker, well, I don't know. It's either going to be Hooker, but he probably won't be ready for 6-7 weeks with his knee. My guess is they were interviewing Teddy Bridgewater. So my guess is he'll be the number 2. They'll let Goff go at the end of the year. He'll be the 1, and him and Hooker will fight it out for it. Because Bridgewater's cheap. That's the Lions stance. So I'm going over on the game because I know KC's going to put up 30 points, and I'm not sure what I'm getting from the Lions. Am I going to get 14 points from them? I don't know. I need 47, 48 in the game. I get 30 from KC because the Lions' defense sucks. I get 30 from KC, gives me, 17 from the Lions, and it's 47. So 32-17 is a winner. That's about what I see it at. Detroit maybe with 17 points. I don't know. And again, week 1, the guys are not in shape at all. So it's a real tough week. The tempo is off with the quarterback receivers. Mahomes should be okay because he's Mahomes. Burrow will be okay because he's Burrow. But the rest of these clowns, I don't see it. So you got to be careful with that. All right. So let's go over with the Lions KC. Again, these aren't my picks. These are my projections. But if you buy the service, I'm not necessarily playing that game. I might play the game, but I'm not. So I'm trying to give you a good synopsis. But you won't know the locks. You won't know the strong plays. And I bet the way to bet teasers, you must bet it stronger than weaker. So in a real strong game, you bet 5 units, let's say, or 10 units, whatever your unit is. Then in the average play, it might be 4 or 5 units. And that's how you win, is you jump on the strong bets. So you don't know that, FYI, but I'm trying to give you, this is who I like. So I do like the over in the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it or not. So anyway, but that's that. I am giving you my opinion of what I think. Atlanta 343 over Carolina. A huge Carolina trend. They're 12-2. They're 20-2 as a road dog. 7-1, 12-2, 20-2. Play against Atlanta is 14-2, 15-1 as a home favorite. So Atlanta at home doesn't cover, and Carolina is a very good road dog. So from that standpoint, however, now you got the new quarter. Who's going to quarter? So we don't know who the quarterback is. Is Bryce Young the quarterback? I doubt he's ready, but if he is, then Atlanta is going to play Ritter. He at least played last year. He's not bad. He played at Cincinnati. They're going to try to run the ball most of the time anyway, so they're turning into Army-Navy, which makes most of these Atlanta games under, you would think, because of running the ball, running the clock, but they don't have the great defense. So I really want a great defense to bet under, and I want a great offense with the weak defense to go over. So like Kansas City's an over team. Atlanta's not really an under team. They will run the ball, but their defense is not that good. However, I don't think Carolina can really take advantage of it because they don't have a quarterback. So we will see what happens here. So my play here would be under. And then the trend, which I don't know if I'll use or not, is Carolina plus the 9. Atlanta could blow them out. They could just run it down their throat and blow them out. You can't get caught into the trap that every game's close in the NFL. Therefore, I'll just take the dog and it'll be close. That's bullshit. You can't bet like that. You got to know which games are you think going to be close and which games aren't, and that's how you do it. What happened to Mariota? He already lost. Yeah, they're going with Ritter. They just announced it a couple days ago. So Ritter's the 1. I don't know if Mariota's the 2 or Mariota is going to end up on Tennessee or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, he's out. He's not the 1. Let's put it that way. I never thought he was any good anyway, and so he'll be, I guess, the backup. But he's another runner anyway. Ritter's just younger and a better runner, and neither of them can really throw the ball that well. With the points, I'd probably take. Well, I got to see who the quarterback is. Probably Carolina at 9, unless it's Bryce Young. Then I'm very reluctant to take a guy from Alabama who hasn't even played it down yet to say, hey, now will Carolina be smart enough to play him in the preseason? Oh, he might get hurt. Even though he might suck, he might get hurt. So this blows my mind how bad the coaches are. You need to give these guys in-game reps against real players with pads on. I love this. Oh, the guy looked good in practice. He's in shorts and a T-shirt. It's all psychological. It's like, Bobby, you could take batting practice when they lob the ball in and you're hitting the ball all over the place. Does not prepare you for the game when the guy's throwing 95 miles an hour at your head. Same thing in football. When these guys are going at your head and taking your knees out in fast motion with pads is a whole lot different than shorts and a T-shirt. And, it's just these coaches wonder why so many get fired. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Mariota was just another Oregon system quarterback. He wasn't even that. He just ran. I mean, some of the Oregon quarterbacks are okay. Look at Herbert. He's Oregon, and he's fine. He's not, he doesn't really run that much. He's a good passer. So Oregon really, I saw Thompson Robinson's on Cleveland, I think. So I was looking at the box score, wondering who this guy was for the Jets who finished up. I never heard of the guy. He's 4-stringer. But I think Thompson Robinson's on Cleveland. I would look for him to beat out, what's his name? Where is it? Deshaun Watson. I think he's better than Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson 5 years ago was good, but you can't sit out 2 years. And then he's going through all the sexual stuff and the lawsuit and everything else. He just signed this big contract. You think this guy cares at all? Hell no. He's just taking his money and off he goes. And I don't get in the pros, everything's guaranteed money now. What are you kidding me? You guaranteeing football players who get hurt every game? All right, so it's hard to bet Atlanta as the favorite because they're not a very good team. Carolina, it's hard to bet them. So it's a hard bet on the game. That leaves us over under. And I think the under 43 to 49 is a good play because Atlanta's going to run the ball. They're not going to score that much. They're going to eat the clock. Carolina, no matter who the quarterback is not going to generate a lot of points. Even though it's Atlanta, who doesn't have that strong of a defense, I still look for this game to be low scoring, especially week 1. If it is Bryce Young, he'll go 5 for 20 for 80 yards and try to run for 50 yards. I mean, he couldn't light up Texas or Texas A&M. He scored 20 points in those games, and then LSU beat him. I think it was a 20-point game. Had he played Georgia, he'd have been shut out. Had they played, they did play Kansas State in the bowl game, but Kansas State didn't try, obviously. So look for this game to be under. All right, Baltimore, Houston. Baltimore, 9.5, 45. Baltimore, Houston is 14-2 as a road dog, which I didn't realize. Or no, no, that's Atlanta's. They're 8-1 as a road dog, but play against Baltimore is 12-1 as a home favorite, meaning Baltimore as a home favorite doesn't cover because of Lamar not using the whole chess pieces. Since Lamar doesn't use the rooks and the pawns, and who knows how often he plays, will he even finish the game? They're a bad home favorite. Sort of like KC. They're laying 9.5. Okay, they can't beat anybody by 9.5. And then Houston's a good road dog. Now, who's going to start for Houston? Is it going to be CJ Stroud or Mills? Either way, they won't score a lot. And I really like this game under 45, going under 51. That's really the strong play, I think. Because Baltimore's got the defense. They're going to run Lamar. I mean, they're not going to get a lot of points. He can't hit the broadside of a barn anyway, so it's not like he's going to light it up. And even if he does, they get up 27-0. That's the final, right? They're just going to end it. So that's all it is. Bobby, by the way, not to get off football, but how was it's very good. It's the same as you. It's funny. I just walk in the door. She goes, how many egg rolls do you want? Sometimes I want one and sometimes I want two. And I say one. She knows what I want. I'll interrupt her if I'm not going to get it. I'll just say one egg roll. And she says, sit down. And I think they're starting to cook it for me because I only waited about 5 minutes. And she said, General Chow's ready. And so there it is. So, yeah, it's great. Just like usual. So that's why it's consistent. It's always, I know what I'm getting. It's like going to Burger King and you're getting the hamburger or Wendy's. You know what you're getting. And here I know what I got. I still have half of it left, which I'll eat soon. And that's it. Baby Boar TV is that? I don't know Baby Bo's TV. I don't know who it is. I don't think it's Kenzie, but it could. Kenzie will come on and say it's Kenzie. That might be another. Yeah. Me, I don't know. But why wouldn't she just come on as Kenzie? Okay, so you done at the Chinese spot. No, I got to eat at home because it's just carry out. They had a restaurant and we would go eat there. We'd sit down. When I was married, I'd take the kids. And I went so long ago. My oldest is 29 now. And, well, no, she just turned 30. And we used to go before she was born and then when she was born. And the guy had a heart attack and they sold, and then they bought another place as only carry out. So there's no table. So it's just you come and it's carry. So I have to drive about 20 minutes, pick it up, and then drive 20 minutes home before I can eat it. And it's funny, but in those white containers, it stays hot. So it's not like it goes cold. But no, I gotta eat it at home. So unfortunately, which I'm because I don't get the soup with it. And if I got it there, I think I'd get the wonton soup, but you don't get that on a carry out. I mean, I suppose I could, but I get the egg roll and the General Chow, and it comes with broccoli. So it's perfect. Is it in the city of Detroit? No, the only time I go to the city of Detroit is to go to MGM and play poker. And then it's right off the highway, and it's very quick in and very quick out, and you hope you don't have a flat tire. But city of Detroit, you get away from the ballpark, and you get away from the Renson where GM is, and you get away from the MGM, the DTE Energy Building. You get away from like the buildings, and you're praying for life. It's not a place to go. It's a lot of crime, a lot of drug dealers. It's all criminals, probably not a lot of police. It's not it's not a place to go. I remember Carmen came from Romania And we went and we're in Vegas walking around. And then we went to Chicago and I took her to the waterfront. She sees all the nice buildings. We go to the Navy Pier. We go on some boats. And then I finally bring her back to Detroit where I live. She said, let's go downtown. I go, there's nothing here. I mean, it's the Renson where GM is. The real part is Windsor, where Caesars. There's a Caesars Windsor. That's the real nice on the water part, but it's in Windsor. You got to cross the bridge or tunnel, and it's a pain in the ass now because it used to take 5 minutes. Now it takes like an hour. And anyway, so she kind of get it. Let's see it, and then she said, "Okay, we can go." So, no, you don't go to Detroit downtown. There's nothing there. It's just a lot of crime. And it's really a shame that they just let it go like that. That's how corrupt it is, though. It's just very corrupt. How about that one night on New Year's last year when you were at the casino watching the TCU Michigan game? Was it crazy downtown that night? It was crazy in the casino. At the poker table, nobody liked me because I kept rooting for TCU, and I'd laugh at them. Oh, I guess you bet Michigan. Well, that's a shame. It gets crazy, but it's not like Times Square. It's not like Vegas where everybody's out. You go to the casinos or you go maybe to the Renson. I don't know. Maybe you go to a nice restaurant and you have your New Year's Eve. But I don't really. To me, I go play poker, and then at 12:00, everybody, happy New Year's, have a drink, and and I go back and playing poker. Or the last one, I was playing poker, but the fucking Georgia-Ohio State game got so close I couldn't play anymore. I had to watch the game, so I cashed out. I'm watching Ohio State, Georgia. The fucking game goes past midnight. It was unbelievable. But, yeah, I mean, what are you doing New Year's Eve having a playoff game on? What are you kidding me? You're going to compete with New Year's Eve? So I thought that was stupid. But, yeah. That was a great game with a great ending because we had all locked Georgia even. And if Ohio State hits the field goal, we lose. Because we'd already won with TCU in 13. I mean, that was the easiest pick. And that was in, but we needed the Georgia even, which we got lucky. Then Georgia we had over against TCU. But, yeah, that was tough. All right, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati 1.5. Cincinnati overall 16-3, 34-6. There's no trend on Cleveland. So Cincinnati overall, no matter what the stats, they're 16-3. So with Burrow, they're very strong team. I don't get the spread going to 1.5, but the over-under stayed 47. If they're afraid of Burrow being injured, then why didn't the 47 go to 46? And Cleveland, okay, they got Chubb and the defensive end. Give them some credit, but they're no match for Burrow and Chase. Probably a high-scoring game, I would think, with Chubb, as long as Burrow. And I don't see why Burrow. He pulled a calf or whatever, which most people will do in the first half of their first game because they're not going to be in shape. So you're going to see a whole lot of pulled muscles week 1 and week 2, and maybe hamstrings and maybe knees and ankles and stuff like that because these guys are not in shape. You cannot get in shape by running around in shorts. You get in shape in pads, playing at least a quarter of the first game and a half of the second game. Then there's a bye. Why is there a bye after 3 preseason games? The whole point of the preseason game is to get you into it. The last thing you want is a bye week 4. Nobody wants a bye week 4. So if you're going to do this bullshit, it's, just start it a week later or whatever you're going to do. It's week 1, week 2, week 3. Then go play week 1 of the regular season. There's no reason for a bye after week 3. Why are you so worried about injuries? It's football. Everybody is injured. You play one game and 90% of your team has injuries, and it's just part of the game, and they got to play with the injuries. They don't get better. Look at Burrow. I don't know. Will he have his calf muscle bother him the whole year? But I guarantee you he plays with it. There's no way he's not playing with the calf injury, right? You just hope Chase doesn't get too injured, and you hope T. Higgins doesn't get too injured, and we hope Boucher gets injured on New England because I don't want him on New England. But in this game, this is 1.5. You got to take Joe Burrow in 4.5 against any team. They've showed it against Kansas City. They've showed it against Buffalo, and I'm not worried about Cleveland. They are not in Cincinnati's league. So you're giving me Joe Burrow in 4.5. I'm not worried about an injury now. Now, this is why we're not betting it now. We're going to bet it the week of the game because we got to make sure the injury is not there. So we don't know, but that's what you're getting. So we have a pretty good idea on Cincinnati's market. We don't know Cleveland because we don't know if you're going to have Thompson Robinson or you're going to have Watson. I would play Thompson Robinson. And I love the we're paying Watson $27 million or $30 million a year or $200 million. Who gives a fuck? It's like the Tigers with Cabrera. They're paying the guy $30 million a year. So you're idiots. Why would you keep playing the guy? The guy, I watched them because I don't watch it on TV because it's like bellies and who's going to pay for bellies to watch the Tigers? But I'm at the club working out. I'm on the bike, and then the Tiger game was on. Cabrera looked like a fat pig. He looked like an offensive lineman. How do you play that guy? I don't know how he can get a hit. He's too fat. I'm sure he's got no reflex. I would just throw the ball. I'd give him a curveball, and that'd be all it. And I'd keep it inside. The guy wouldn't get a hit. All he likes to do is slap the ball to right center. You know, the ball's out over the plate. And he just kind of punches it to right. So I wouldn't put the ball over the plate. Just keep the ball inside. That's what they used to do. He stinks. I wouldn't even play the guy. So if you're playing him, that's how bad you are. But I was in the pool talking to some guy who I know from. He spends a lot of time in Europe, and we're talking. He says, "Oh, it's the gold guy," and I go, "Yes, I am the gold guy. I'm the smartest guy in the house here." And I said, "Did you buy gold?" Yeah, I said something like that, and he said, "No." And I go, "Yeah, you're too stupid to buy gold." And he looks at me, and I go, "Why aren't you buying gold?" "Well, I'm not interested in it. I don't think it does anything." And then he tells me, "Well, I've been in business since 1959. Oh, you're 80 years old, really? And you're still in business, really? Why do I find that hard to believe?" And then he sits there and he says, "Well, I because I've been in business, I don't buy gold." I'm like, I don't get the connection. What does one thing have to do with it? If you're smart, you would take your profits and buy gold with it. But you're not that smart. Then I says, "I got a master's in this. You don't." He says, "Well, I got a bachelor's." I go, "Mine's in economics." So I actually understand what's going on. And I'm telling you to buy gold for your protection. It doesn't benefit me. I'm not selling it. So it's not like you're going to buy it from me. I'm getting a commission. If the Titanic's sinking and you're too stupid to see the water coming in and you don't want to get off the boat, I'm off the boat. I'm in the water. I'm in my boat that's built with gold that even if it hits an iceberg, ain't going down. That's where I'm at. You're still on the boat and you're wondering what I'm telling you to buy gold for. Okay. So I hate the comment. I can't eat gold at the grocery store. What the fuck is that? Who says it? What is the point? I can't eat gold at the grocery store. Oh, so he says that to me. That's what I was going to say. So he says, "Well, I can't eat the gold, or I can't use the gold at the grocery store." And I said to him, "What are you going to use? The paper ain't going to be here." You're not going to use this at the grocery store. This won't be around, right? When the shit hits the fan, this is not going to be at the grocery store, right? You're going to go this. You're not going to buy anything. So what are you going to use? Okay, smarty pants. What are you going to use at the grocery store? You're not using dollars, which means you ain't using your debit or credit card. You're fucked unless they come out with a new dollar. What are you going to use? I said, do you own a Rolex or something? He says, oh, no, I don't use watches. I go, well, do you know what an asset is? It's something of value that will, that's what you're going to cash in to eat. But your money and your business ain't going to be worth shit because it's in dollars, and all the dollars will be worthless. So all your revenue and all your stuff will be worthless, which is why you don't buy stocks. I'm scheduled for a neuromuscular massage tomorrow at noon, but he a first, so hopefully it helps. But he a first. That's the tricky one, Bobby. So basically what you're saying is this is the first time you're going and you hope it helps because you've never done it before. Okay, I got you. Well, why are you doing it? Did somebody tell you this will help you? As I say, try to figure out what's causing the problem. So your hamstrings are bothering you. I don't know if your back's bothering you. I think it's your legs. So is it a nerve in your back? Like the sciatic nerve, right? Sciatic. So, because the sciatic nerve will hurt your hamstrings. So if that's what's causing it, but then you'd know if your back was hurting you. All I can say is there's stretches that I do in the pool that help. And then I don't know that the food's going to help you. The fasting, I don't know, will help. It'll help the gout, but I don't think it helps here. And that's where my thinking is. So, try it. It can't, well, it could hurt, I guess, if they do it bad. But good luck on that. I hope it works on your hamstrings. So anyway, that's the biggest argument I get back is I can't buy food with gold. And when I hear that, it's such a stupid comment. I mean, does it make any sense? Well, do you have an asset? So you're going to buy with this. This isn't going to have a value. This is what you're leaning on to buy it. Then he made a comment, well, Trump's going to win the election in 2 years, and then he'll be in 4 years, and then everything will return to normal. And I like, you're out of your fucking mind. There's no way Trump's going to win the election because George Soros has it fixed. Trump's going to win, or Biden's going to win, because that's who Trump wants, or that's who Soros wants. And if it ain't Biden, it's going to be another Biden type of person. That's what's going to happen. Not, it ain't going to be Trump. And even if it is Trump, what can he do? Unless he backs the currency by gold, there's no way out. And every time a president tries to back by gold, they get killed. Robert Kennedy, I think John F. Kennedy. I'm surprised Reagan didn't back it by gold, but I'm sure he probably wanted to. So you've got to understand the presidents in the United States are put in by George Soros and or by J.P. Morgan. These are not elected by us. So if you're in that fantasy, you got to wake up from that. That's not what's happening. You do the stretches while standing in the pool. If so, what kind of stretches? I do them in the hot tub. I do them. I go to a corner in the pool and I like this, and then I swing my legs up. So one of them is I put my feet over each other and then I turn. It's too hard to show you here. And then I switch feet and then I twist. So I'm like this. So my feet are kind of locked, and then I turn, and I move it like this, and then I turn the other way. Then I do the figure four, the Ric Flair. So I put my one foot under my knee, and then I turn, and then I do the other foot under the knee, and then I turn. So I'm turning my back with my feet in different positions. Not necessarily standing. I do them on the stairs where I can hold the stairs and really get into it. And I do it in the hot tub. I can do it on the floor. I prefer the pool where I don't weigh anything. But again, my left hip's 2 inches higher than my right. So I'm not I can walk fine now. Once in a while when I wake up from sleeping, my back's a little tender, but if it hurts, I just do that. I'll do the figure four, and even when I'm going on the bike before, I'll do the figure four. I'll put my right foot under my left knee, and I'll just turn it. So I just twist standing up, not the same intensity, but I'm just stretching my back, and it works. Those type of exercises work, but again, that's my sciatic, and it's for my back. It's not really for my hamstring. It could be your eating habits, too much salt, not enough salt with the hamstring. That I can't help you with. The back, I can tell you those stretches work. And I'm pure, again, I'm a pure example of I can walk uphill. I couldn't walk all the way to the car when my back was bothering me. I would have to sit down halfway, stretch it out, and get up and walk. Now I can actually walk all the way from the locker room to the car without too much pain. And, when I'm walking, I started walking a mile again on the lake. My back would tighten up. My problem is if I stand up. So me and you have a conversation and I'm just standing there, my back doesn't like that. I can't do it. I gotta either be sitting or kneeling or like this. I cannot just stand there and talk to you. My back will just do that. So I can't stand with my back. And I think that's what hurt it. I remember having a conversation with some girl and we're standing there and I thought it'd be 2 minutes, turned into 20, and my back was killing me after it. So that's the one thing. So that's what I avoid. And that's what I'm telling you. Figure out what's causing your pain and avoid it. And you can easily avoid it once you realize what it is. You go, oh, fuck, that's all it is. I didn't realize. So try to figure out what is causing the back. Just like I did with the aspartame. The aspartame's causing my gout. So I stopped having Diet Coke and it pretty much went away. And then I had Crystal Light thinking, oh, okay, it's not pop, da 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 da. And it came back because of the fucking Crystal Light. So I threw it out. So yesterday, as a treat with the Chinese, I had a regular Slurpee. I had a regular Pepsi and then a little bit of Slurpee. Not a lot of Slurpee, just a little bit, just to get the flavor. And that was it. And now my feet aren't hurting. My eyes are a little bit because of the sugar. So I got to just stay away from that because either way I go, it's either going to be gout or too much sugar for me. I got to be careful with that. I can't just take a big pop, and I don't want to have regular pop. I know that's terrible, but I've been having like ice cream or a donut or something, and that I'm fine with that. So I've been having that instead of the chips, but now I know it's the aspartame. Stay away from that. Yeah, that's another thing, Professor. Sometimes my back feels super tender, like a big black and blue sort of thing. Well, you could be pulling, it's a lot of shit that as we get older, and you played a lot of sports, so you've really hurt your ligaments and your tendons and your spine and everything just through wear, not injured. So you've got to be careful with that. So if I were you, I would do a lot of these in the pool where you weigh 2 pounds and you can do some good stretches and take your hot tub and you'll feel fine. And just be careful. You can't probably stand and talk like you could before. You'd want to lean over or sit down talking because that's going to compress your back. And just as we get older, the back compresses. So you got to be careful with that also. Maybe not a black and blue, but definitely very tender. Yeah, I know what you mean. So real quick. So right now, let's see what the price of gold is. So I got gold futures on COMEX at 1940. I got it at 1942 and $23 silver. So as long as this stays, my plan tomorrow is to pull about 21,000 out of my E-Trade into my bank. I should get it by Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. Run to the bank when I have it and put that money in the safe. I'm getting my Social Security tomorrow. Put that in the safe, and then I get my paycheck Thursday. That in the safe. No rent to worry about. This is a big week, and then I'll go buy some gold on Friday. Especially with this BRICS announcement happening next week or shortly. So I always worry about the weekend, right? Oh, the banks collapsed, gold went way up or something like that. All that shit happens on the weekend. So as long as we're okay Monday morning, then I'm pulling the money out, get it Tuesday or Wednesday, get it home, and then I don't have to worry the bank won't give me the money and shit like that. And again, I don't do too much where, okay, 20 grand, I should be able to get 20 grand. At least I can get 10 or 15. And then if I have 5 grand in the bank, I don't care. But that's kind of my point. And fortunately, where I go at Fifth Third, I've never had a problem getting to 10 or 15 grand out. If I had 100, I'd be peeing in my pants getting it out. So be careful with that. All right, so that's game plan. Again, you're watching the gold, but I think a lot happens after BRICS. I don't know if it happened right away, but the problem is that in America, they don't even tell you about BRICS, or they'll say, wow, BRICS, they've been doing BRICS for 20 years. It'll never work, or they're not going to do it. They're not serious. So if something happened 10 years ago and it didn't happen by now, it's not going to happen, I guess. That's the logic. It's the same thing. Well, I can't eat gold at the grocery store. Okay. Nice talking to you, strange people. All right, next game, Jacksonville, 444 against Indy. Play against Indy is 14-2, so they don't cover. They suck. They've had no quarterback. Who their quarterback is, I'm not sure. We got Lawrence for Jacksonville. He sucks, as we know. It's funny, I'll hear, Trevor Lawrence and Fields and Lamar for MVP, and I'm like, you ever hear of Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Burrow? Are you out of your fucking mind? You think Trevor Lawrence, MVP, he'll be lucky to win 8 games. He's not a good quarterback. He can't throw, as they show in the playoff game. If San Diego kept the same defense in the second half they did in the fourth, they'd have had 8 interceptions on him. So he throws 4 interceptions in the first half. San Diego changes their defense, and they fire their offensive coordinator. Like, it wasn't his fault. It was the coach who's the defensive coordinator. So I don't know what to do here. I can't trust. See, in my mind, I can't trust Lawrence as a road favorite. I can't trust anybody Indy puts out there. What have they got? Richardson, he sucked at Florida. He ain't going to do shit. He'll try to run. What he doesn't realize is the defensive tackles are as fast as this guy. They draft speed. The teams have speed on them. So a fast quarterback doesn't mean shit. Thompson Robinson I'd rather have than Richardson. So another bad draft choice by Indy. Again, just like Rosen and Josh Allen and these guys, it's the same crap. What did they get? Richardson. Yeah. Well, after 5 or 6 games, he'll have like 3 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, and he'll run for a lot. Well, he'll get better next year. Joe Burrow was better right away. Mahomes, he didn't play the first year. When he took over, you didn't need 5 years to get better. Either you can play or you can't. Burrow hits the field, he can play. Aaron Rodgers hit the field, he could play. You either can or you can't. Fields can't. Jackson can't. Tagovailoa can't. Lawrence can't. They can't play. They don't know how. All right, so I don't know. That's a terrible game. Probably an under because if it's Richardson, they're not going to score. Jacksonville will run a little bit more. And once they get the lead, they tend to run a lot. So unless there's a bunch of pick sixes, which there could be, it should be an under game. Tampa Bay Mini play against Minnesota as a home favorite, 11-2. Play against Minnesota, 15-3. Play against Tampa Bay, 16-2. Minnesota is a home favorite, it's 11-2. So Minnesota plays close games at home. Play against them as a home favorite, 11-2. Play on them as a home favorite, 11-2, which means this will be a 3 to 7 point win for Minnesota. So I like Minnesota even. I don't know who Tampa's quarterback, even if it's Trask, it's still going to be his first game. I think Jefferson's the difference here with Cousins. Cousins stinks. I don't know why you're signing this guy I don't know why they got him, and I don't know why they're signing him. You could find 10 guys in the draft next year are better than Cousins. So again, it's a mystery, but they are at home. So I like Minnesota to win at home. All right. I am scared of their defense, but Tampa, I don't know who they have back, and it's such a terrible coach that I don't see how they can possibly win. So I do like Minnesota here. New Orleans is down to 342. They've got the running back from the Lions. They've got whatchamacallit. They've got Carr as their quarterback. I don't know. I think Tannehill's still on Tennessee. I heard Tannehill's starting, so he must still be on Tennessee. Play against New Orleans is 14-3 in a teaser. This would tell me New Orleans is going to win. I think this will be a very close and a very good under. Tennessee, strong defense. Who's their quarterback? Tannehill against Carr. Olavi's on New Orleans. They've got the guy from the Lions, so they should be able to score a little bit. But Tennessee plays a tough defense. So this game won't hit 20. It'll be like 17-13 or something like that. So I think under is the only way to go here. I don't know how you can play Tennessee. We don't know the quarterback. Where's Derrick Henry? That's what you could bet on. And now New Orleans with Derek Carr, and then the running back from the Lions is probably their best offensive player. And then Kamara, I'm waiting to hear. So if Kamara plays, then yes, I like it. But it'll still be a low-scoring game with the running. Frisco Pitt. Frisco is 340.5 down from 42. Love the game under. Two strong defenses. Brock Purdy is going to play. I'm sure he'll start. Pickett. Good luck against this defense. I don't think, but Pitt with a good defense, this game should be low scoring. And you can see it went from 42 to 40. I don't know. I'd be that aggressive betting it this early, right? It's still a month out, and you're making a football bet a month early. There's injuries and stuff, so I'd be careful with that. I'm not betting this game now, but I do like the under. Pitt in this game, Pitt 7-0 is the home dog. As a home dog. So when they've been a home dog in Pitt, 7-0, a lot against Baltimore, maybe Cincinnati. They're 7-0 against it. So Pitt +9 is probably good, but I don't want to fuck with San Francisco's defense and Brock Purdy. Frisco could easily win by 10, but I don't see a lot of points here. Pickett is not going to light up Frisco. I don't think Purdy's really going to light up Pittsburgh. So I think this is a very low-scoring game. Arizona, Washington. I don't know who the quarterbacks are. Play against Washington as a home favorite is 7-0. So when Pitt's a home dog, you bet them in a teaser in the trend. Well, it shows you Pitt comes to play as a home dog. They know they're the home dog and they're pissed off. Here you got Washington. When they're favored, they choke. they get all scared. Oh, shit, we're the favorite, and they fall apart. Now, Arizona, I don't know who their quarterback is yet. We'll start figuring it out this coming week when the preseason starts. We can look at the box score and maybe have an idea. I think there's a site, if you Google starting NFL quarterbacks or NFL rosters, it gives you a 2 or 3 deep, at least a 2 deep look at everybody. So you can see, well, here's the projected starter. And now Kyler Murray's obviously out. So then it'll be whoever is his replacement. And that's the thing with these free agents, not as much in the draft. The draft we know, but you can't rely on a quarterback in the draft, although they do love Stetson Bennett at the Rams. So get Stafford out of there and get my man Stetson Bennett, who is the best quarterback in the draft, not by a little, but by a lot. He is the best quarterback. I would say Hooker was 2, but he's hurt. And then I would say Hayner from Fresno State was 3. Nowhere in my mind is the Florida, Ohio State, or Alabama quarterbacks even any good. Look at the Alabama quarterbacks. Tagovailoa sucks. Guy on New England, who I thought was better than Tagovailoa. He really sucks. And Hurts is terrible. Hurts can't complete a 10-yard pass. So you have those 3, and we know Ohio State's quarterback sucks. So again, instead of going and getting Stetson Bennett, who won 2 national titles, no, we don't want him. He can't run. He's not a fast runner. He actually uses the bishops and the rooks. You watch the Rams this year. When he gets in there, we'll be betting on him versus C.J. Stroud and these other guys where we're going to bet against Houston and Indy every fucking week. I mean, that's going to be a draw. That's a no-brainer. No, bet it. Under. They won't score. So Arizona, Washington, I think it's an under because I don't think there's a quarterback out there, right? Neither team's got a quarterback. How are you going to score? So they're going to run more, which takes time off the clock, and you don't get a lot of points. You don't get a lot of possessions. You don't get a lot of turnovers. So I like the game under. Arizona, Washington under 40. Washington has a pretty good defense. Arizona just sucks. They'll probably be a Z team this year. Now, the Bears minus 2.5 over the Packers 44.5. Play against Chicago 15-2. Green Bay as a road dog is 10-1. Chicago is 6-1 as a home favorite. So you got a lot of as a home favorite, they're 6-1. But if you bet against them in those, you would have won. Play against Chicago is 15-2, which means Chicago can't win by a lot. They just don't have they have a terrible team. And then you add the Packers are 10-1 as a road dog with Aaron Rodgers. So now what is the market or what is the personality of Green Bay? We don't have a fucking clue because we don't know what Jordan Love you're getting. The 3rd-year Jordan Love at Utah State, who was good, or the 4th-year Jordan Love at Oregon, at Utah State, who sucked. Which one are we getting? Now, you'd think the Green Bay coach is smart enough to go to the 3rd-year offense, not the 4th-year offense. We'll see. But Jordan Love, it's a mystery. I mean, after the 3rd year, I was saying, oh, yeah, this guy's good. After the 4th year, I said I wouldn't touch him. I would never have drafted him in the 1st round. This guy's not your answer. So we will see what they have. You couldn't win with Aaron Rodgers. You're not winning with Jordan Love. But you got Fields who can't throw a 10-yard pass, and so he's going to run a lot. But they do score a lot. I think this is an over. I think Jordan Love can complete enough passes on this secondary, and this defense for the Bears sucks. And then Fields should be able to score because that's what he does. He put up 40, on New England and Dallas last year was insane. 2 strong defenses. So I think Fields runs for 200 yards. Who wants a quarterback that runs for 200 yards? And what did they win? 3 games last year. So he can run for a lot, but you don't get wins with it. So I like the game over. I think Fields puts up his 20, 30 points. Love, give him 20 only against this defense. It's the thing with the NFC North. Nobody has a defense. Minnie's defense is terrible. They're an over team. The Lions' defense is terrible. Maybe they're an over team. You have a known commodity in the running back last year, 17 touchdowns. And now what have you done? You gave him away, and now you drafted some kid out of Alabama who's not very good, and you think you'll equal that, and you're like, the fuck you talking? Or David Montgomery from the Bears. If he's so good, why are the Bears didn't run him? Why did they keep running Fields? Don't tell me you want to run your quarterback. If that, then you're not a professional team or a professional coach, because you don't run your quarterback. That's why Buffalo never wins. That's why Baltimore never wins, because you cannot run your quarterback. What the fuck are you doing? So I probably like Green Bay as a dog, but with love, but I like them over a lot more than I like Fields. Oakland, Denver. Denver laying 3.5, 45. I have no trend. It's a little trend on Oakland, but nothing major. I like Sean Payton and Russell Wilson over McDaniels and Garoppolo. So I would take Denver at home. I love how Denver gets an injury. Oh, what a catastrophic injury. And I looked at I never heard of the guy, some linebacker. Meaningless injury. If it ain't Russell Wilson or Sean Payton, it's a meaningless injury. So I think Denver at home. I think Oakland sucks, and I keep an eye on Denver this year. So over under, it's probably an over, because Sean Payton is an offensive wizard. McDaniel sucks. Garoppolo sucks. I don't know. I don't know if it's an over or an under. I just think Denver is the play here. Miami, San Diego. San Diego 2.5, 50. Tua against Herbert. And play against San Diego is 17-3, and play San Diego is 15-2. So San Diego, like Minnesota, plays all these close games. Therefore, the dog should be live here, Miami. They're not a strong road dog, but San Diego's not. San Diego plays close games. They always have. So it's a good Miami. It's better over. Neither team has a defense. Excuse me. The other team has a defense here, and both teams have pretty good offenses. Herbert should light it up. Tua, he's got the receivers. He's okay. Let's make a bet until he gets his next concussion. Is it going to be 1 game or 5 games? Somewhere in there, he'll have his concussion and he's out. So Tua's just injury prone. He's done. Herbert, we like. He's good. The coach we hate on San Diego. We don't know what the fuck he's doing. I'd rather Sean Payton went to San Diego. Then you'd see him in the playoffs. I don't know what this coach is doing. You have a 27-0 lead over Trevor Lawrence, and you let him off the hook. You get 4 interceptions. Let's change the defense. Seriously? So I don't know what the fuck he was doing there. Anyway, this is a very good over game. Philly 4, 46.5. I like this game under all the way. In a teaser, play Philly 11-1 as a road favorite. So they're very strong as a road favorite. 17-3 overall. Play against New England as a home dog, 7-1. So you can see where the Brady trend. If Brady was the home dog, they'd win every time. He leaves. Now notice they're a home dog 8 times. And of the 8 games that they were home dog, they lost. They were 7-1 if you bet against it. So you've got a really strong Philadelphia road team with all the Georgia defensive players going up against Mac Jones, who sucks. No offense in New England. Philly 17-3 overall in a teaser against a weak New England. I love the under, and Philadelphia is looking better and better, even though I don't like Hurts. I certainly don't like Mac Jones. He's terrible. So I think Philly with the Georgia guys just shuts out New England. New England usually has a good defense. Belichick, that's the only thing he knows how to do. And it's not the defensive coordinator, it's Belichick being the defensive coordinator. So I like this game under, like the Frisco game under. LA, Seattle. Seattle's 5.5, 47. Play against the Rams are 8-1 overall, 15-2. So this is a Seattle trend. Seattle's very weak as a home favorite. You would think with the 12th man, they'd crush everybody. That's what the Legion of Boom, that's what a good defensive team does, right? The home field advantage, they shut you out. This team doesn't have the defense. They're an over team. They can't stop the win. Now, they did add a few drafts. This is another team where we're trying to figure out the market. Did they get better? Are they now an A team? Did they get a better defense because they drafted 2 or 3 good defensive players and they drafted some good running backs to run the ball and play defense, which is what Coach Pete wants. That always wins in the NFL. Back to the Packers, Franco Harris, Paul Hornung, Joe Montana. It was really these dink little pass. He was really running the ball with these little passes. Lawrence Taylor's team ran the ball. Emmitt Smith ran the ball. You want to win, you got to run the ball. It's never changed, and it never will. And all this passing is just for show, but you want to win. It's like golf. You drive for show, you putt to win. You putt for the dough. It's the same thing in football. You can pass and look pretty, but if you can't run, you're not going to win. Bobby Bowe. More like Trevor Lawrence for most picks thrown this year. Yeah. Well, Tagliabue will be up there. And Fields should be pretty high on the list. So we'll see. Yeah, I saw this. The Rams are 5.5-point dogs week 1 against the Seahawks. Yeah, they should post an over-under for how long Tua will last. Yeah, well, that's what I think. I give him at the most by 5 games, he's got his concussion. That'll be 4 in the last year and a half. I don't think he ever recovered from the hip injury that Bo Jackson couldn't recover from. How is Tagliabue recovering from it? But he wasn't physical enough to actually pull his hip out of the socket like Bo did. So I don't know. I just don't see he's not that good anyway. So I don't really care. Anyway, so yeah, Seattle. Now, once you get Stetson Bennett in there, it's a different team. Cooper Kupp is playing. He caught a touchdown in practice. So you got Kupp. Is Aaron Donald playing? I like the coach, McVay. So LA could be competitive here. This game should be a nice over, depending on how strong Seattle's defense is and how strong the Rams and Aaron Donald are. So again, these are unknowns. We don't really know their market yet. We know Seattle wasn't over, but Rams, we didn't have Stafford, we didn't have Donald, we didn't have Kupp. If they're all back, I don't know. I got to go back 2 years. And they weren't a great team when they won the Super Bowl. They got lucky that the games were at home. Stafford sucks on the road, especially in a playoff game. So we'll have to wait a little bit more, but I think if Stafford is playing, and Smith, I think it's an over because we know we got Kupp and Stafford at least. I look for this game to be over. I don't think Seattle, they don't have a defense. Dallas and the Giants. Dallas 346. I have no trend as far as New York or Dallas to the Giants. Used to be a dog trend, heads up, and I'll have to look at that. Just heads up, but nothing came out of the trends. Dallas, not a bad road favorite. Dallas, their problem's Prescott. New York's problem's Jones. So again, I would rather have Thompson Robinson over Prescott all day long. Prescott's killing you. So will Dallas be smart enough to, let's say Houston or Indy gets the number 1 pick, because one of those two will. Are they smart enough to trade Prescott for the pick? And then I could see them trading it to Indy because they'll realize how bad Richardson is. And if I was Dallas, I would be trading Prescott for the number 1 pick, and I'd get Rising or Hartman, either one, as the number 1 pick. Not your Caleb Williams, because he's Oklahoma, and we see what those guys do in the pros. They're the same little system as Ohio State and Alabama. If you could get Rising, or you could get Hartman, maybe Van Dyke, and I'm more leaning towards Hartman and Rising, as I would take them first. Never Williams, not Penix. He sucked his second year at Indiana. I know he cost me when I bet on him, so fuck him. KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, I like him a lot. The kid out of UTSA, Frank Harris. Kid out of Tulane's good. Oklahoma, Gabriel's very good. Texas, if that kid goes, he's okay. Not in the other class. I heard an interesting thing on TCU where they're saying, well, they lost their quarterback. They won't be as good. And that's false. They did not lose their quarterback. Duggan was not their starting quarterback last year. The starting quarterback got an injury in week 1 or week 2. So the guy who was their one got injured. He's the quarterback this year. So TCU has an upgrade in quarterback. They're not going to a new one. They're going to the guy who won the job. So don't put TCU down like, oh, they're going to be down. They were talking about like odds to win the championship. TCU, oh no. Don't fuck. They have a very strong defense coming back, and they got a great coach and a quarterback for that offense. I look for TCU to run the table just like they did last year. Oklahoma, no defense. Texas, no defense. Baylor, maybe. Kansas State, absolutely. Kansas, no defense. But TCU is still the team to beat in the Big 12. I think Dallas wins with the defense on Jones. I do too. I think it's all up to whatchamacallit, the linebacker, who I'm having a mental block with. But well, Jones just wants to run. Barkley, it's really the turnovers. The problem is Prescott. It's where will he throw the 3 interceptions, in his side or their side? That's the problem with Prescott's, the turnovers. So the Giants gets 2 interceptions. Maybe it's a pick 6, which is what Prescott usually does. That's your problem. So it's not like you're not letting Micah Parsons win the game. You're letting Prescott lose the game. Why they're so high on Prescott, I have no idea. It's very clear he throws way too many interceptions. So maybe if he couldn't win with Kellen Moore as his offensive coordinator, he ain't, they don't have a chance. And that's what keeps Dallas out of it, is they take the art of war. What's your strength? What's your weakness? Play to your strength. Your strength's Micah Parsons in the defense. Stop with Prescott and the interceptions, because that kills the defense. Prescott throws they run it back for a touchdown. They don't score on the defense, so don't let him throw the interceptions. They're better with Cooper Rush handing the ball off 40 times a game, winning 17-3, than they are like they did against the Lions last year. I think they had Cooper Rush, and they beat him like 20-7. I mean, it was like they just put him to sleep. The Lions couldn't even get a first down on that defense. Let your defense win the games, but you don't have a head coach who has a brain in his head. You don't have a quarterback who has a brain in his head, and that's why Dallas is suffering. So if you put Sean McVay as coach of the Dallas, they're in the playoff. If you put, well, not Andy Reid, but there's really no good coach in the. And if you had Bill Parcells or Bill Walsh as head coach of Dallas, they get to the Super Bowl, right? Because Bill Walsh is going to figure out these little dinks and donks. Bill Parcells isn't going to let Prescott throw the ball. it's going to be run with O.J. Anderson, and I got Lawrence Taylor, which they have in Micah Parsons. So you're fucking up everything with all these interceptions by Prescott. So you've got to clean that up. But they should win if he doesn't turn the ball over that much. Yeah, Micah Parsons. I got you, Bobby. All right, now this game, I don't know what I like. Probably the under. Parsons shuts down the Giants, and the Giants don't even have that great a defense, but they don't have a good offense. I don't know where they're going to score. I think it's a low-scoring game, but I don't like Dallas as a road favorite. And last but not least, Buffalo against the Jets. Buffalo 247. There's no trend on Buffalo or the Jets. They're not a great road favorite. The Jets are a decent home dog, but not high enough percentage. What I like here, obviously, is the Green Bay offense with the San Francisco defense together, and they're calling it the New York Jets. You got San Francisco's defensive coordinator, and they're shutting you down. And now they've added a great linebacker from Iowa State. Unlike the Lions' pick of Campbell from Iowa, the guy on the Jets is 20 times better. And again, that's where the Lions fail. They take a running back with the first pick. They're out of their fucking minds to replace the running back that they did. So if they sign the running back, they don't need to draft this guy. Then they could have got the guys from Georgia, but they don't take the guys from Georgia. All these defensive players from Georgia, from the best defense in the last 20 years in college football, the Lions get none of them last year or this year, and Philadelphia gets 4 or 5 of them. And who has the best defense in the league? Well, San Francisco and then Philadelphia. Where are the Lions at? They're like last. So if you get players from good defensive teams, you have a pretty good defense, or a good defensive coordinator, or a good defensive coach. It's funny how that is. I absolutely love the Jets as a home dog here, getting more than 7. The over-under of 47. Aaron Rodgers tends to not go over. As good as a quarterback as he is, if you notice, he'll bleed the clock. If you need points with Aaron Rodgers, you're in trouble because he'll sit there in the fourth quarter and that clock goes down to 1, and then he hikes it. And I've seen so many of those games where you're like, oh, I got the over, and why isn't he hiking? And he waits till 1 and hikes it 10 plays in a row and just drains the clock. So if you ain't there by the fourth quarter with Aaron Rodgers, you ain't getting there. So I don't know. Is Von Miller playing? Is he healthy? Is he really going to bother Aaron Rodgers? I doubt it. I think the Jets defense is the best unit on the field. And then I think the Jets offense, and then the Buffalo offense, and maybe the Buffalo defense. So, and one sleeper thing is Aaron Rodgers knows Micah Hyde because they played on Green Bay. So he knows how to burn them. I got to take Rodgers here. They've got the running. They've got the defense. They're at home. I look for Rodgers to have a big day. That's all I can say. We've seen Josh Allen in the big games. Did they score against Cincinnati? No, it was 27-10 last year. So the Jets are the last one. The best teaser trend is Cincinnati and Philadelphia as far as just in a teaser. So if you look at where they're at, Cincinnati's like 85% in a teaser the last few years. And then it's Philadelphia. And then it's Atlanta, Seattle, and San Diego there. The play against, the best team to play against. So here's the teaser. You bet against this team is Atlanta. Then it's Tampa, the Bears, Baltimore, Indy, Kansas City. So all of them are pretty bad except for Kansas City. And that's because they're always laying 10 points. Like here, they're laying 7 to the Lions. They're always laying a lot of points, but they play a hard schedule. So they're playing Buffalo and Cincinnati. They played Cincinnati twice last year, and Cincinnati got them both times. If you bet them, which we did, the Buffalo game, Buffalo beats them. So Kansas City, San Diego has their number. Denver now will have their number. So Oakland, is a rivalry game. So KC, they win the Super Bowl. It's all Mahomes. He wins the game, but he doesn't cover it. They don't win by a lot usually. They'll get up, and then when he needs the touchdown is when he can do it. So it's sort of like Jack Morris when he pitched for the Tigers. If the game wasn't close, he wasn't interested. But when the game was on the line and then he needed to get the strikeout to win the game, he got the strikeout. Remember when he was on Minnesota in the 10th inning of the World Series, how many pitches did he pitch then? 180, 200 pitches? He'd have been gone now. Oh, Jack, you're going to hurt your arm. He pitched his 10 innings, so we know at least 175, 180 pitches, and he needs to strike out at the end, and he strikes the guy out. That's a winner, right? And that's what you got with Rodgers. That's not what you got with Allen, and that's what you got with Mahomes and Burrow. If the game's close at the end and they need to score, they score. That's why I was shocked that Burrow didn't come back to tie Kansas City. He got the sack, but it was a terrible mark because they got the first down on first or second whenever they got the run. Well, that's week one of the NFL, adding trends, adding what we're looking at. The only injuries I'm concerned about at this point is Mahomes and Kelsey and that defensive end, Smith, I think, Neil Smith or whoever it is now, Joe Burrow and Chase. If it's a lineman or a linebacker, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't mean anything. Those guys are very replaceable. The linemen, the linebackers, the defensive line, unless it's Lawrence Taylor. So if Micah Parsons gets hurt, that's one thing. If the third stringer on the Lions gets hurt, who gives a fuck? If the tight end on the Lions gets hurt, who gives a fuck? He's easily replaceable. He doesn't have that skill set. So that's what we're looking at. So that's football. That's pro football. Let's just take a look at college. Now, I know I spent a lot of time with Egon yesterday, so we're not really going to talk economics. I do want to talk free market for a minute. So you got to understand the market is as much supply as it is demand. And people will say, well, supply demand. What does it mean? Well, if there's short supply and there's high demand, the price is high. So let's go to our eBay. So I was going through some Tom Brady cards. Holy fuck. I'll go to my watch list. So we start with the Willie Mays for $75,000. Now, why is it $75,000? There is a market for it. There are people wanting to buy it. It's very limited in supply. There's not a lot. I guarantee you, 1968 tops PSA 10s, there's not a lot of them. And you have high demand. That's how you get the high price. That's free market. This is not free market. This is market controlled where they're telling you the price, and this is not free market. So my argument with gold is it's not a free market item. The supply and demand are out of whack. That's an industry term. So in other words, the demand is much, much higher than this. And the supply is also much higher. But this is fucked because the government's using COMEX to set the price at $2,000. Right. So this is a COMEX set, government set price by JP Morgan, not a free market price. That's what the market is. So you must have supply and demand. So when we look at this, the supply is 10 trillion of these printed. The demand everybody's running away from. Nobody wants this. You don't want it in your bank. You don't want it. I get 5% in my bank account. You don't. The foreigners don't want to hold it. I mean, nobody holds this. What do? They get it and they go buy gold and silver. They buy a house. They buy a car. They'll buy land, right? They'll buy stock. Nobody, for safe haven, will buy treasury bills. Anything in this is not safe haven. Treasury bills, stocks, houses are okay because they're really not in this, but they are priced in dollars. And then anything in the bank, get the fuck out of the bank with. And this is a highly supplied, low demand item. That's why it's going to zero. You can only have a market if there's demand. If there's no demand. So if there's no demand for our favorite, here's supply. Can I sell this? Only if somebody wants to buy it. If nobody wants to buy it, this has no value. And then I might as well drink it. If it does have a value, then I can sell it if I deem the value is worth it. Somebody's going to give me $100 for the bottle. Here's your bottle. I'll go buy 4 ounces of silver with the worthless dollar. But this has a market as long as somebody makes it and then somebody wants to buy it. So it's got to be two ways. So when people tell you supply and demand and they start fucking around with you at the gold price is not supply and demand. The gold price is price fixed by the government, JP Morgan. And let's not forget, they're the ones running everything. So they're the government, they're price fixing gold and silver. But they are not price fixing Willie Mays. They are not price fixing a Jim Brown card. They are not price fixing this Tom Brady card. Those are free market. Why would Jim Brown go for $15,500, but an ounce of gold goes for $2,000? This is my point. So this is really what it is. I found this for you, Bobby. 100 ounces. The guy wants to sell it for $195,000. So he's selling it for $19.50 an ounce, which is really a bargain because look, it's $20.80. If you want one, it's $20.80, but this guy's willing to sell it to you for $19.50. Makes you think, is this real or not? But it probably is. So if you want to buy, but who has? So if I'm Warren Buffett, I'm buying it like this. If he's not buying it from there. But anyway, that's the thing. Oh, I found this one. This is the 1965 Mickey Mantle hits a home run. $48,000. Are you fucking kidding me? It's just unbelievable. So when you're looking for Mantle cards, I've seen this card for $200. Now, I never saw it as a 10, but you see the card. Look at what it's going for. Oh, baseball cards have no value. Oh, really? Because of the demand for Mantle and the limited supply of a 1965 PSA 10, which there ain't 100 of these cards. None of the 65s. You just assume there's 100 that are 10s. That's it. That's all you can assume. You cannot assume there's more than 100 because they were always off center and then the corners are creased or stains. There's just no fucking way there's a lot PSA 10s. But then you add Mantle to it. Even though it's not his regular card, it's a clutch home run to win Game 3 of the World Series. It's a subset card. Not even that. It's just a little part of, let's like an all-star card. There's Mantle, there's a Mantle all-star card, and here's a World Series recap cards where they made one for like each game. $48,000. That's the market. So there's enough demand for Mantle to do that with the PSA 10, so with limited supply. So when great demand and low supply, you get high prices. So that's why you got Willie Mays also with high demand and low supply. That's supply and demand. When people start fucking around with you on it, that's what it is. Very low. So is there a market? So what I keep screaming about is there going to be a market for this? The whole world's de-dollarizing because the U.S. is not playing right. They're trying to say, we're going to not subsidize you. We're going to sanction you. We're going to sanction you. If you don't listen and do what we say, you're our hostage. We're going to sanction you. They did it to Russia, and they're doing it to China. And they're saying, fuck you. We're going to come out with our own BRICS currency backed by gold. So go fuck yourself. And before there'd be wars, like Saddam Hussein, they would just kill him. Or Gaddafi. You want to go on the gold standard? We're going to kill you. But what are you going to do to Russia and China and India and South Africa and Saudi Arabia? You got too many guys for the bully to bully. And now they're all going, fuck you, we don't want it. Now all the other guys who are saying, yeah, we don't want you either. Now we can join their club. And then as I read, it's not about India trading with China. It's about this is the new dollar. And since it's backed by gold, we can trust it. That's what it's all about. It's not the ruble. It's not the yuan. It's amazing how stupid some of these people are, like the guy on Mark McGuire's show, Andrew McGuire. Well, the ruble or there's not enough gold. Like, dude, there's 60,000 tons of gold in China. I think they can make a gold-backed currency, considering the U.S. is going to do it with 8,000 tons. They got 60,000. Anyway, the moral of the story is it's not going to be, India's not going to be dealing with Russia. There'll be a central bank, so there'll be a middleman who will have this BRICS currency, and it'll be backed by gold. And all the BRICS nations will be able to trade with it. Will we be able to trade with it? I doubt it. However, it'll still make the price of gold go to the roof because there's only so much dollars, so they got to revalue gold at a higher rate. And they're going to want to revalue gold at a higher rate to get their debt down. So it's a double-edged sword, getting your debt down, and you need gold at a higher rate to have this BRICS currency. And they're doing it to get out of the dollar. So when you push people around and do that, they don't like it. And that's basically what's happening. So these people do not want to be treated like that. So they're all jumping on BRICS going, we'll get involved as long as the currency's backed by gold. And they're saying, yep, it'll be backed by gold. That's what we'll be announced in 2 weeks. Now, when they announce it, I don't expect gold to jump up that day, but soon. It's out there. Now, CNBC and MSNBC and all these channels won't carry it. They'll talk about Trump or whatever, but we'll know. We'll know what's really going on from Alligator and Egon and that. And that'll be good enough for us to go, okay, I know the truth of what's going on. So when everybody doesn't understand, and then gold goes through the roof, we're going, yeah, it's about time. Everybody else is going, well, why is it going through? We got the dollar still strong. Yeah, believe that one. And as they say in Rome during the Roman Empire, oh, we're the Roman Empire. We can't go out. No, that'll never happen to us. We're the Romans. Hey, where did our country go? Why are all these Turks or whoever invaded them or Germans? Why are they running things now? Where did our gold go? Oh, you mean all these idiots devalued our money and took all the gold? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? All right, so let's look at a little bit of college football. Let's just look at some key games. So Notre Dame Navy, we got Hartman now as the quarterback of Notre Dame. I'm not going to go through the point spreads now. Some of the point spreads I can't find. They're not still out there. I'm going to go with the old point spreads because there's no reason they're off. So Notre Dame 20 against Navy. They got a new coach who was the defensive coordinator against Hartman. I look for Hartman to have a huge day against Navy. This guy's a very good quarterback. Like I said, a top 5 draft pick easily. If you can get him lower than that, jump on him. But this guy's he was great at Wake last year, goes to Notre Dame. Now that's a smart move. If I was a Wake and I could go to Notre Dame, I'd probably do it too. New Mexico State, UMass. This is down to, I think, 7.5 or 8. Love New Mexico State here. This is a joke. They got a good quarterback, a good coach, Jerry Kill, and UMass just sucks. I don't know how they're getting any better, so I think New Mexico wins by 3 touchdowns here. Allen costed me a good 2 or 3 times when I betting Bills last year, betting in the game with interceptions. That's because he can't read a defense. LSU strong play, not this week. Why New Mexico State moving? Are the sharps on you? Yeah. If you're a sharp and you're on UMass, you're not a sharp. I have no idea. I don't really give a fuck. The game's at New Mexico State. It's like watching the gold price. Why is the gold price going down? Who gives a fuck? It's not real. I don't give a fuck here. This is just who would bet UMass? You've got to be out of your fucking mind. And New Mexico State has the proving. Now, if the quarterback's injured, okay. I'm not sure I would bet UMass. I just wouldn't bet New Mexico State. But I haven't heard that Pavia is injured. So if he's healthy and he's playing, they'll beat him by 3 touchdowns. And it might be an 8.5 or an 8. I don't know. Let's go. USC, San Jose State, over under 63. Might be a little higher. Should be a very explosive game. San Jose State's got a really good quarterback. We know USC has no defense, and they got Caleb Williams. We know, and San Jose State had a good defense last year, but apparently doesn't this year. So this game should be in the 90s. I think they can handle the 57 over. Utah, Florida. This game's down to 7 or 7.5. Same reason I love Utah in the revenge game in the mountains. Florida, new quarterback, the guy from Wisconsin, Graham Mertz, who sucked at Wisconsin. Not going to be very good at Florida. Plus, what I really like about this game, besides Cam Rising being healthy, is their defense. So you're betting as much Utah's defense as you are Rising, as you are against Graham Mertz, as you are the Florida defense. Florida was not a very good team last year. You telling me they're going to go into Utah in a revenge game in the mountains and beat them? No chance. That's never going to happen. Miami of Florida against Miami of Ohio, 17-51. We got a new offense from Miami. They're going to run the air raid with Van Dyke, which should get 50 points a game for Miami. They should kill Miami of Ohio. Doesn't have a good offense. Their defense is okay, but that's in MAC, not against Van Dyke. Look for Van Dyke to light them up. Army, Lou Monroe. We like the Army here. Now I look, they got a new offensive coordinator, and they're going with a little different offense. I love Army's coach, the head coach. And they've had trouble playing Wake Forest and Coastal Carolina and all of Western Kentucky. All these passing teams are getting blown out. And so Army's finally going to go to a normal offense. And the offensive coordinator they brought in, I love this guy. He is smart. He's had a lot of success Division II, but it's the strategy. It's the play calling. It's the makeup. Army's going to kill Lou Monroe. This will be like New Mexico State. They'll win by 3 touchdowns. They're laying 7.5. You cut it to 1.5. This is strong. Let's see. Bowling Green, Liberty. Now Liberty has the Boise. No, that's Louisiana Tech. Liberty's got the Coastal Carolina coach. Now, is he good, or was it the quarterback who we love, Grace McCall? Did McCall make the coach? The coach didn't make the quarterback. We know that. So is Liberty going to be like Coastal Carolina, high scoring, or was it McCall? So we will see. So that's a question mark. LTech has the Boise quarterback Backenmeyer, who sucked at Boise, and he left. SMU's got a really stud quarterback, Stone. New, he's very strong. That's probably why Mordecai left to go to Wisconsin. He probably wasn't going to start anyway. So look for SMU to light it up with this Stone guy. He's a very good quarterback. Michigan, East Carolina, Michigan lane 35. The running back, I think he's still hurt. I don't know that he's playing. And East Carolina's got a new quarterback, I think a new coach. They're going to suck this year. I think Michigan slowly, I think it's an under. I think Michigan just runs it, passes once in a while. East Carolina's not going to do anything against this defense. They're going to get shut out 35-40 to nothing. Over under a 55. So I'm liking the under because the running back's out and East Carolina doesn't show me an offense, and Michigan shows me a strong defense. So look for Michigan in a 42 to nothing type of game. Let's see. TCU, Colorado. We've already mentioned it here. TCU's quarterback is better than Duggan, right? He beat him out, got hurt. Duggan came in. It's the offense. This coach, Sonny Dykes, is a great offensive coach, just like the Tennessee coach, just like the Fresno State coaches at Washington, just like UCLA coach, just like the USC coach. It's the coach that has this great offense. So look for TCU to light up Colorado. They got strong defense back. Somebody said, "Oh, they lost their running back and receiver." Well, yeah, they got a few of them. Their freshmen are fine. They're now sophomores. They got good receivers. It's the system here. They will load it up. They should win the Big 12, and they're going to put up a lot of points here because Colorado's got no defense. Now, unless Primetime's going to play cornerback, I don't think he is because I think he's got toes. He's getting toes cut off. His foot's in problem. I don't know. It sounds like diabetes or something. I don't know what it is, but Primetime's in big trouble. But what has Colorado got that's gonna really stop TCU's attack? It ain't gonna do anything. TCU is gonna be in the 50s, and I just don't see Colorado, even with Primetime Sun throwing to Primetime, they're not going to do that because TCU's got a good defense. I think TCU takes a big lead. Colorado maybe scores a little at the end. Over under 61. So I like TCU. I like the over in this game. Oklahoma, Ark State, Oklahoma 32, over under 57. Gabriel, the UCF quarterback. Enough said. Look for Ark State, very weak team. Look for Oklahoma to roll. They'll be in the 60s in this. Probably by halftime, it'll be one of these 50-point first halves. Ohio State, Indiana, very interesting. Ohio State with a new quarterback. It's a plug and play. Anybody, Bobby could go start for Ohio State, throw 40 touchdowns, 5 picks. It doesn't matter. It's a system. That's why none of them do good in the pros, because once they get into the pros, they can't read a defense. They're looking, is there 8 men on the line or 7? If it's 8, I'm throwing. If it's 7, I'm running. And just the routes and everything else, the quarterback doesn't do shit. So this is how stupid Ohio State is. They had Joe Burrow, and he was the third stringer. That says everything here. So who knows who this guy is? Now, Indiana really sucks. They're laying 28-63. Indiana's got a new freshman quarterback. I look for Ohio State to easily cover this one. It'll be like 50-7 or something, Ohio State. Let's go. Rice in Texas. Love Texas. Evers, the quarterback. Manning Jr., Arch Manning. So I couldn't call him Archie Jr. He calls him Arch. And then if Arch has a kid, it'll be A. Manning. But they're playing Rice, who absolutely stinks. New quarterback. Texas, they're going to look to get going, and they're laying 35. That'll be first quarter. I mean, they'll be 50-something to nothing at half. They're going to kill Rice. But again, against Oklahoma, that's our problem child, right? They don't have a chance against Oklahoma. Mr. Luke, how are you today? No, the gold price won't break this week. It'll break once BRICS announces it. That's the key, because that'll be more countries de-dollarizing and that. But there's no real timeline. It's not like one of these games. It's not USC Nevada where we know they're playing the second Saturday in USC. So we know there'll be a game and we know there'll be a score. We don't really know what triggers it. But we know it's coming. So all you can do is prepare for it and then just wait for it to happen. Looks like silver is close to 1 in your spot terms. Close to 1. Close to 1. I don't understand. Looks like silver is close to 1 in your spot terms. Oh, well, again, as I pointed out, silver is price fixed by the government. The Willie Mays card and the Brady card I show you are free market. And we're waiting for gold and silver to become free market. Right now, they're price fixed by COMEX, by JP Morgan, who runs the government. So it's price fixed by the government. It's the government market, not the free market. We're waiting for the free market to take over gold and silver. That's as simply as I could put it. We're waiting. After BRICS announces gold-backed currency, then that should start blowing up COMEX, because that's what we're saying is they're going to blow up COMEX. They won't be able to keep price control on it when all the other countries are buying gold hand over fist, raising the price, because if you have high demand and low supply, which is what gold is, the price has to go up. Like the Willie Mays card, 75,000. Why? Because the demand's huge for a PSA 10 1968 Willie Mays. There can't be 100 of them. But the demand for Willie Mays is a ton of it. So any Willie Mays guy sees a 68 PSA 10, he's interested. And 75,000 is cheap for that card. Believe me, there is not a lot of 10s. Now, that's where I get it by being a baseball card collector, just like a gold collector and a football guy. I understand how hard it was to get a centered 68 tops, 65 tops, 81 tops, 84 tops, 86, Jerry Rice. Those are extremely hard to get centered. And if you can find a very centered that you can get a 10 with, there ain't a lot of them. Or the 86 Flair Jordan, it was extremely tough to find those centered enough you'll get a 10 with. Now, a PSA 10 can be 60-40. It doesn't have to be 50-50. So a 60-40 can get you the 10 anyway. I think a lot depends on the set, how often they're going to get 50-50s. I think they take that into consideration. But so I know that shit. Well, yeah, silver, well, it's been close. It's going to first go to 35. But as Egon states, I'll get back to football in a second. It's going to be it's going to be like a football game, right? It's 7-7, and the next thing you know, it's 28-7. That's what gold and silver are going to do. It's going to be close, and then all of a sudden, gold goes from $2,000 to $10,000. Boom. Silver's going to go from 27 to 500. 27, 28, 35, 500. That's what it's just like a football game. They're just going to explode because it's emotional. Once people realize they've been duped, it's sort of like Madoff. 99% of the people in the Madoff scam knew they were in a Ponzi scheme. Just like now in the U.S., all these people in these stocks, this Tesla and the Microsoft they know it's a Ponzi scheme. They know it's bullshit, but they're in it because they know it's going up. So they get in it, but they know it's a Ponzi scheme. They know that it's not worth it, but it's going up, so I'll play the game. But then they're going to cry when it goes down. I don't want to play that game. I'm going to play the gold game and just wait because I know it's going to go up. So if you know it, then I don't want to get all the noise. I'm focusing on my football. But that's what's going to happen in the stock market, in the banks. Oh, what do you mean I can't get my money out of the bank? What do you mean my money's worthless? So like the guy in the swimming pool yesterday, well, I can't buy groceries with gold. And I told the guy, I'm swimming yesterday. I already told this story, but I'll tell it to you, Luke. So the guy says, oh, it's the gold guy. And I go, you damn right it's the gold guy. And then he says, well, I can't go to Kroger's with gold. And I go, well, what are you going to use? You can't use the paper shit. You're not going to be able to use this at Kroger's because this is going to be worthless, right? It's de-dollarized. It's worthless. Everything's gold back. Will have a value. What are you going to use at Kroger's? It ain't going to be. I got a better chance using gold than I got using this. And it's not like you use gold. These people are so fucking stupid. Yes, sell a little bit, probably silver, put the money in your bank, use your debit card just like you do now, only it's not going to be this in your bank. It'll be whatever the new currency is that the silver is going to buy. They'll have a new currency. It's supposed to come out in 2024, but I don't think it's going to last until 2024 with all this shit. So I think they'll have to come out with it a little bit earlier, like let's say by October. You'll hear, oh, we have to, the Russians are printing this and it's worthless. We're going to have to come out with a new dollar. So this is because Russia's printing it and they got the plates. So we're coming out with a new dollar that can't be whatever the word is, I can't think of. But that's what they'll say, not that they fucked everything up. Anyway, yeah. Do you think the stock market will crash before year end? Oh, you keep asking me these questions, Luke. I can't answer. By year end, I'd say 50% because these high interest rates are going to kill it. Now, keep in mind, the stock market probably has crashed 20% so far. The only reason you still see 34,000 is all this money that's being printed by JP Morgan going into Tesla, Amazon, Alphabet. But look at the other stocks. They're all down, right? What's Intel at? What's Coca-Cola's down? Disney's down. I mean, most of these stocks are down. Keep your eye on Disney, and they're getting crushed, especially all this. What's Budweiser? What's their stock at? 5? So a lot of the stocks are getting crushed. That's all I hear. I'm out of the game 2 years ago. I sold my gold stock and I started buying the gold and silver, and that's it. It's like betting on the Lions. Why would you do it? You know they're going to lose, so you just avoid that. You avoid the market. You just buy your gold and silver, and you just wait for the elevator to go up, which you know is going to happen. So the BRICS is one thing. These high interest rates killing the dollar, the de-dollarization, the banks going out. There's so many black swans, because they've already started the banks collapsing, and now there's going to be more soon. And people should see. So what people are doing, they're taking their money out of the banks and they're putting it into the stock market. It blows my mind that people just stay away from gold, because I think what it is they don't know. I'm not going to call people stupid. I'm going to say they don't know. They've not been told or taught about gold. That's the point of this class. They don't know Austrian economics. They know Keynesian. They know government runs things. They don't know individuals, and they don't know gold. So what do? They call up their broker, financial planner. What should I go into? I want to take my money out of the bank. And Mr. Financial Planner, stockbroker goes, oh, well, buy stocks. How about gold? No. I don't get commission in gold, so I'm not going to recommend that. Yeah, I have 100 ounces. I'm the broker, but I'm not going to put you in it because I won't get commission, because it's only about me getting commission. So nobody's going into gold unless you understand it, which is the concept I'm teaching, because they don't understand. And they're not told to go into gold. They're told to go into stocks because that's where the commission's made. So you're going to see an attack on Wall Street, only instead of one guy killing all these guys, you're going to have mass murders coming, because they are going to just wipe out all these financial planners, putting them in stock. and not putting them in gold because there's no commission. I'm not a salesman. I don't give a fuck. I want you to protect yourself. I have no, what is it? No horse in the derby, whatever it is. I have no horse in the fight. I don't make commission. I don't want to make. I'm not doing this for commission. I'm doing this to help you. So I'm telling you to buy gold because it's the right thing to do. Bobby, it's okay, or if we can call it for what it is, people are just too stupid to know better. Well, it's just they don't learn it, and people are afraid of things they don't know, right? That's why a lot of guys are afraid of women, because they are guys. They don't know women. They don't know how to treat them. They don't know how to talk to them. So a lot of them are afraid, or she's really pretty, and they get scared. Or they're afraid of, they go to a casino, they play slot machines because they don't have to do anything. They push a button. They don't want to get to a table game where people are going to recognize them and judge their play. They certainly aren't going into a poker room or a blackjack table because people will see them. So they go play slots and lose their ass. That's what people are. They're scared of things they don't understand. They don't know where to go to learn. And that's why I do this, is so people can feel comfortable doing what they do, like in poker or anything else. Luke, my family needs a new house. I have 3 young kids. I'm totally priced out right now. Can't buy because can't afford the 78% rate on a $600,000 house, hoping everything will change when the crash comes. Well, Luke, what you're going to do is you're going to buy the house with the gold, and you're not going to have a mortgage, and you're not going to care about the interest rate. The $600,000 house will end up going down to about $200,000. So it'll be $200,000 at 15%. You're going to walk up and say, here's 2 ounces of gold. I'll take the house. No mortgage to worry about. All the housing prices will go down. So everybody's crying about the inflation. It's not that. People will need money, right? Most people aren't going to be in gold and silver. They're going to be in this shit, or they'll be in the market. So when the market crashes, they lose all their money. They're in this. They can't get the money out of the bank, but they own a house. They own a $600,000 house. I need to feed my kids. I need money. I'm selling, and there's no buyers. So the house drops in value because what did I start with? Supply demand. If there's no demand for Canadian club, there's no market. This is worth 0, right? As long as there's a buyer, now there's a market. I'm selling it. Bobby's buying it. We agree on the price. That's the market. But if nobody wants to buy it, there's no market. The price drops. Who's going to buy the $600,000 house? Nobody. Therefore, the price drops. However, the loaner needs to recover the inflated dollars. The interest rate goes up. You, having assets of gold and silver, can buy the house using those assets. The seller is so excited to get real money, he'll sell it to you for 2 ounces, because by then the gold will be worth $100,000 at least. The house goes down to $200,000. You got 2 ounces of gold, maybe 2.5. You got yourself a house. No mortgage. You walk in with it. No 1099 because you didn't sell it. It was traded. That's how you're going to work. That's the other reason you buy gold. Mostly, if you have 50 or 100,000, instead of losing it all, you traded it for gold, which now goes up. So that's your first thing. You're out of this. You need to get out of this. So if you hold Apple stock and all of a sudden Apple's, let's say you hold Disney stock, and these idiots keep coming out with these stupid movies and nobody likes them and they're losing millions and millions of dollars. What are you going to do? You sell your Disney stock, right? And maybe you buy Apple, or maybe you just take the money and buy gold. Think of this as Disney stock. I don't want to hold it. I know it's going down, right? Disney stock's getting crushed with these stupid woke movies. If this is a Disney stock, you're going to hold this? No, this is 100 times worse than a Disney stock, because these idiots keep printing it to death the more this is a pro set, right? You've made so much, there's no value left. All the foreigners do not want it. So again, if nobody has a market for this and nobody wants it, it goes to zero. Yeah, JP Morgan wants it. Warren Buffett wants it because he's got 2 billion of them. He wants them to have value because he's too stupid to buy gold. Can't help you there, Warren. But if that's what you're going to do, when it goes to zero, you're fucked. Welcome. If only you would have listened to me and come to the channel, you would understand why you're getting out of the dollar. This is fucking Disney stock. So that's really what's happening. So you need to get out of that. When the crash comes, the house will drop, the interest rates will go way up, and they'll come out with new money, and your gold's the savior, which is what we're doing. Yeah, Luke, the real estate is tough. Hopefully it can cool off a bit. Interest rates are going to kill you guys. I know I could use a vanilla a day. Love that, Professor. You're welcome, Luke. That is what is real, and that's the truth. But you're not going to hear it. You're going to hear it from me, and that's why you asked about Egon and Alligator. That's why. So you get a second opinion. You go to a doctor and he says, you got a broken leg. So you go to another doctor and do I really have a broken leg? And what can, like Bobby with his back or his hamstrings, and he goes to a doctor and he tells him. So he goes to another doctor and maybe he goes to 3 doctors and he says, well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And they all give him the same thing. Now he goes, okay, if 3 doctors say this is a problem, that's a problem. So I don't bring you Rick Rule and all these Maloney's and Ray Kurtz and all these idiots. I bring you actual people that know what's going on. So you get Egon and Alligator and Andrew Maguire. And if they all agree with what I'm agreeing with, then you go, okay. And that's really why I bring you the extras. I'm 100% confident. The comment I left Andrew Maguire yesterday was, I don't know why you don't have me on the show. I know more than all of your guests put together. And I am 100% confident in that statement. I totally believe that statement because all you bring on are salesmen. I used to be a stockbroker. That's all you don't bring on economists. And so you bring on stockbrokers you just bring on salesmen. They don't know shit. They're salesmen. Buy this stock, buy that stock. So understand that the real reason houses will go down is A, interest rates, and B, people will need money because people will be too fucking stupid to get out of this. Because you know why? It's always been there. For 50 years, it's been good. So why would it stop being good? Well, New England used to be good, but Brady ain't there anymore, and they suck. The Niners used to be good. They had Joe Montana, but he ain't there anymore. Now they're getting better. Maybe a bad example. Dallas used to be good, but they're not anymore. And you're going to say the same thing with KC. Right now, they're really good. They got Mahomes. As soon as Mahomes gone, KC's a 500 team again. And Andy Reid ain't the greatest coach in the world. He's only great because he's got Mahomes. And the same thing with Cincinnati. They've never been good. Now they got Burrow. They're pretty good. As soon as Burrow goes, then they're not very good. The coach really sucks. So that's really the point. Packers used to be good when they had Lombardi. He ain't there anymore, and they're not very good anymore. So that's what happens. So the excuse of, well, the dollar's always been strong, and for 50 years it's been good. You haven't had Joe Biden and Hunter Biden running the White House and JP Morgan running the government and the Chinese running the government and this $10 trillion in printing, this $35 trillion debt. Hello, it matters. You can't ignore it and say, well, that's okay. And the funny part about the debt, it's like 25 million the last 5 years. That's when I got out of the dollar in the stock market. As soon as Biden took over and started doing these $10 trillion, $2 trillion, $5 trillion things, I know you can't do it. It's pro set, right? I get it. I get it from baseball cards, right? oh, you've just turned it into Barry Sanders Pro Set rookie card, which is only worth 150, and the Joe Montana's worth 100,000. Why? Because there's very few Montanas that are 10s, and there's all sort of 10 Barry Sanders. That's what you've done to the dollar. You've just made it Pro Set, and there's no value in that, and nobody wants it. And that's what you've done. Nobody wants the dollar, and you're going to see it, and it's going to be quick. The Titanic's filling with water, and you don't think much of it. And then there's a point where all of a sudden it breaks in half, and all of a sudden everybody realizes, oh, fuck, we're fucked. This ship's going down. So there's a point in the beginning when they hit the iceberg and everybody's walking around like nothing, and then there's a point where they realize they're fucked. This has hit the iceberg, and people are starting to see the water come in. And here's BRICS saying, yeah, there's a whole lot of water in here. And then the people will see BRICS, and they'll start going to the lifeboats, and the lifeboats, gold and silver. So you understand the plot of the story, and that's the plot, right? If you're in dollars, you're fucked. If you're in the stock market, you're in dollars, you're fucked. If you're in bonds, you're in dollars, you're fucked. If you're in houses, you're in dollars, you're still fucked. And the only time you're not fucked is gold and silver, the baseball cards, the Rolex, some asset. Only real assets can protect you. So the house will protect you. You won't need to sell it. I mean, if you're in your house, you're fine. You'll lose value, but you don't care. You don't have to buy a new one, and that's fine. But if you're trying to buy a new one, like our Canadian friend, he's fucked. Physical silver should be good, I would think. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Gold and silver are together. So if I say gold, it's silver. Yeah, because it's real money, and it's the out. You're getting off the Titanic, and there's these gold boats and these silver boats, and they're just sitting there, and you're going to swim into them, and then you're protected. And even if you hit the iceberg, you're not going to go down. So you jump into the gold boat, into the silver boat off the Titanic, and then you're protected. And that's the cleanest way I can present that. You are protected once that happens. All right, a few more minutes, and the pool closes at 4:30. It's 3 o'clock, so I'll give you a few more minutes. Again, I apologize for the beginning. It wouldn't come on. My cam wouldn't come on. And so I kept spinning, and I just logged off the computer and came back on. So it's fine now. All right, one key game I like to talk about is Houston and UTSA. Frank Harris. Love Frank Harris, the UTSA quarterback. New quarterback at Houston. Houston's favored by 2.5. I love UTSA and 8.5 here. Probably the over is 65 also, but UTSA, they're going to have a strong running attack, and Frank Harris is a dynamite quarterback. He's like Jefferson. So Jefferson at Arkansas, Harris at UTSA, same thing. These are first-round NFL quarterbacks, and they're getting points. UTSA and 8.5 is a joke. Alabama, Middle Tennessee. I think this line's a little high. Alabama 38-39. Both have new quarterbacks. Alabama's quarterback's very weak. I don't see them blowing everybody out. They really haven't had a running game the last few years. Their defense will work against running teams, but as you saw against Tennessee, they're trouble. So if they play a passing team, they're fucked. That's why I was surprised their defensive linebacker went number 4 in the draft. What happened against Tennessee? They gave up 50 points, and this guy's, it's a scheme. So he got a lot of sacks, but it's all bullshit because he didn't read any plays. He just ran up to the quarterback. You can't do that in the NFL. He'll be a bust. So Alabama, I don't know. It's a big number, 38. I would probably go under 56 in this case because I don't think Alabama, I don't know. It's a good game for the quarterback to start with. Middle Tennessee State, not a real strong defensive team. So I don't know. They'll probably run away at the end, Alabama, but it'll be tough. South Alabama, Tulane, very good game. Tulane -7. I like South Alabama here. Pratt against Hudley. South Alabama is a very strong team, but you don't know it because who pays attention? Tulane, we know, is very strong. They won the bowl game. But this should be A versus A. I like the points here. North Carolina, South Carolina, again, an even game. Take the dog. Riddler against May. May's way overrated. In all the games, we bet him over. He doesn't show up. South Carolina's a better team. I like the dog there. Coastal Carolina, UCLA. McCall on Coastal Carolina against the new quarterback for UCLA. Love the game over. UCLA doesn't have a defense. They're just like USC. They score a ton, but no defense. McCall's going to pick them apart. This guy's another one like Hartman and Rising, who should be a top 10 pick. Very strong. So there's going to be a lot of points in this game. And our last game is going to be Bobby's LSU, Florida State. LSU 2.5, 57. Both quarterbacks back, both defenses back. A versus A. Two strong offenses, two strong defenses. I got to take the dog here. 8.5. I get Florida State. If you don't want to get personal, the over-under is 57. I probably would go under. Whenever there's two strong defenses playing, I tend to go under because you just don't score that much. And you got a 57. You got to go under 63. It means you got to be 35 to 30 to get your 65, to get your 63. You're not going to do that with these defenses. It ain't going to happen. LSU, Florida State. So I like the game. I like the game under, Bobby. I know you're going to take LSU. If I'm betting a team, I'm going to take Florida State. More than likely, it's an under game. I'll circle it. I'll circle it for Nick. Nick says he watches me circle my games, so he knows what to bet on. Poor Nick. Hope you're good, Nick. Haven't seen you in a while. But, yeah, expect the BRICS news. More banking collapses. Inflation is not down, it's up. You can't look at one little data point that's fixed by the government. Oh, it's 3%. I mean, don't be that naive. I mean, use your mind. If you printed all the, it's like saying, oh, I like Disney stock. Well, these woke movies they're coming out with, nobody wants to see. You're losing millions of dollars. Oh, Disney had a good third quarter. They made a good movie. Oh, buy stock because it's down. Now I'm going to buy Disney because it's down. Well, it's down because they make shit. There's no way you can print 10 trillion, 15 trillion and keep printing Social Security, welfare, Medicare, money to the Ukrainians, just everything they hand out. Where is this going down? How is inflation going down if you've printed, let's say, 15 trillion of these? There's still 15 trillion out there. They didn't go away. The 89 Barry ProSet card is not going to 1,000. You've printed so many, it's 149. It was 250. Now it's 150. So don't sit there and think that you stop printing the money. So don't go there and think, okay, now that we've stopped printing because we've raised interest rates to 5%, that all of a sudden inflation's gone. Inflation is printing this, and you printed it. It's not going away. Inflation is there. Look at interest rates. Look at housing and car interest rates. That's the inflation that you need to look at. Bobby Bo, did you get to finish the General Chow? No, I haven't. I've been here eating I had my avocado, and I had some dark chocolate, and I had my coffee, and I had a nectarine. So I've been eating a little bit of nectarines for a treat. A little bit of sugar, but not too bad. I mean, if you eat one, again, the problem with cherries is you eat the whole fucking bag. The cherries were 99 cents at Meijer's, and for the bag, and I did all I could not to get them because it fucked me up because then it led to ice cream and donuts, and I had that sweet taste. So that's why I did the 47-hour fast last weekend. And this weekend I'm pissed because of the aspartame. Now my foot's bothering me again. I've been so careful with it. I fasted. I've been fine for a month. No problems. And then I have Crystal Light and the fucking aspartame. So don't eat or drink aspartame. Not only is it cancerous, but it fucks you up. And we don't want that. Just have ginger tea, regular tea, coffee, water. You just got to suck it up and realize everything's bad. I probably need to get a pure filter and filter my water, because God knows what's coming out of the tap water now with these crazies in charge. So I think I'm going to get a pitcher today or tomorrow. Jenna wants to go to Berlin again. She says that there's a friend who's going to drive to Warsaw, and she can go with, which will avoid that whole take the cab to the train station, take the 20-hour train. I don't know how fast the car will do, but I think it'll be 4 or 5 hours instead of 20. And he's going to Warsaw. So says, can he drop you at the airport? If he can drop you at the airport, it's only probably a $200 flight to go from Warsaw to Berlin in an hour, instead of her getting on a train, her having problems with the train being full, going there. She said she didn't have a seat. She had to stand or lay or whatever for 7 hours. So she'll be able to go to the airport and take an hour flight, which we can do both ways, and then he'll drive her back. All I got's a flight. Go ahead. Food's food, because I give her money for food anyway. So that's really a wash. And she can stay with her friend. So there's no hotel to worry about. So all I got to do is a flight. Yeah, I can flight and food. Yeah, that I can do. So that, and then Daria's getting her implants. So I think I give her one more payment, and then she can get her implants, and she'll be taken care of. So there you go. Social Security tomorrow, paycheck Thursday. So it's a good week for the professor. And then moving my money in from E-Trade. We'll be visiting the bank for the money and the gold store big time on Friday. So I'm waiting until tomorrow when gold's still at 1960 or 70. Then we make the move, and then we go to the bank. And as soon as I see that money in the bank, I'm at the bank. Give me as much as I can get out of it. And that's why I don't do too much, because I know I won't get 50 grand out of it. So, 10, 15 grand, that's fine. And so that's my week, and then more gold. But Luke, I'll probably buy mostly 90% gold, only because I have 600 ounces of silver. I don't really need more silver per se. I was thinking about this watching Egon or somebody yesterday, and here's the difference between gold and silver. It's the gold standard, and the key is gold's indestructible where silver's not. Silver wears out. Now, I don't know if you had a fire. I know gold will be fine. I think silver will be fine in a fire, but silver does wear out, like in a battery, in these electric batteries for the cars. You're putting silver in it, and I know it wears out. So silver is used, and then it wears out. You can't use it again. The gold that I have, it could have been from fucking Julius Caesar. It could be all from the Roman gold or the Mayas or anywhere, because they simply melt it and remint it. And I know the Chinese are doing that. They're getting a lot from Saudi Arabia, and then they're saying, I think the Chinese gold goes to Switzerland, and they're saying remake it as something else, right? So they're actually melting it down and redoing it. So the only difference between gold and silver, except for I can fly to Switzerland with 5 ounces of gold and it's 50,000 an ounce. I got 250,000 in my pocket. I couldn't carry that much silver. It's indestructible. So no matter what happens, heat, ice, nothing can hurt gold. It's indestructible. Silver does wear out. Now, I'm not using the silver, so I'm not worrying about it wearing out, but it does wear out, which on the other hand limits supply, because supply will go down because, we can't use this anymore. And nobody's mining silver because it's not worth any. It's $25 an ounce. So therefore, the cost to mine it is, let's say, $40. Nobody's opening up silver mines, so they're running out of supply between the solar panels and the electric batteries and whatever the fuck they use it for, the computers, the phones. So they're going through silver pretty fast. Tesla just bought a shitload for his electric vehicles, realizing price is about to go up and he needs it for the batteries. So I don't think Ford and GM's that smart. Anyway, so that's the difference. The silver wears out. If you put gold in the battery, it would never wear out. You'd take it out, you'd re-mint it, and you'd do something else with it. But gold cannot wear out. So that's really the biggest difference, is gold is indestructible. It's the gold standard. Not that there's a problem with silver. It's money, and for our purposes, it's perfectly fine. But I was thinking that is the major difference. It's indestructible. So anyway, that's about it. I am off. I got to get to the pool because they close at 4:30. I got to do my stretches and my other. Did you get to finish the General Chow? No, Bobby. Okay. I'll probably have that for dinner. I'm going to grab a few pieces as I go out to the pool. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you very much. www.teaserking.com. Again, if you want to buy the packages, you can pay me in two. By the $750, you can pay me $300 and $450, or $250 3 times. If you want the $599, you can pay $250, or $300. Whatever you want. Season starts soon. We got a few weeks. No need to buy right now. You can buy in a few weeks, but I will post games the week of the 27th. So once that Monday or Tuesday hits, the picks will be there. And the difference is, when I give you a pick here, it's my judgment, but on the sites, this is my lock, and I'm not going to tell you that here because of the buyers. So I'm going to have my lock there, and I'm going to have strong plays based by units. And there's my actual picks, right? What I'm betting on. Versus here, I'm going through every game just to help you out. Like Bobby, I'm never taking Florida State in a bet. So if I'm in Caesars Palace or I'm at William Hill and I'm in Vegas for that week, I'm not betting Florida State in 8.5. I probably would bet the under. But when you buy the picks, you'll see exactly what I'm doing. And I'm giving you my comments here. So just so you understand that you're still getting my comments are my comments. They are what I'm saying. That's how I feel about LSU. I would never take LSU. If I'm telling you to take Florida State or the under, that I might not pick the game at all, but that would be how I see the game going. You're welcome, Bobby. Have a good day. General Chow for dinner, and I'll send you some. Next time I go, I'll have them deliver to you, Bobby. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you, Luke, Bobby. Take care, and have a good day. I will see you Tuesday night. All right. Well, I got to see Alligator's got his new one on. I got to see that. But, I mean, of course they're going to have gold-backed bricks. Like, see, that pisses me off when a guy does that as his heading, like, to get viewers. That means you're weak. I don't do shit to get viewers. You want to talk about gold, silver, football, baseball, economics at a master's level, I'm here. You want to talk about it, come on, we'll talk about it. All right. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Take care.